This page is the cover of SEGA Saturn Magazine, Volume 14, from December 22, 1995, and it's heavily focused on Virtua Fighter 2. You can see the main characters from the game like Kagemaru, Sarah, Akira, Pai, Jackie, and Lion, all posing for the cover. The headline screams, all about Virtua Fighter 2, and promises a complete strategy guide, including CPU strategies, dual commands, and special options. The magazine also highlights other new and popular SEGA Saturn games. Featured titles include SEGA Rally Championship, Panzer Dragoon 2, Dokusei If, Sotsugu South, and Street Fighter Zero, known internationally as Street Fighter Alpha. There's also a list of other must-have Saturn games like Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, Mobile Suit Gundam, Guardian Heroes, Dark Savior, Dragon Force, Virtua Racing Saturn, Kaitei Deisensu, which translates to Undersea War, and Theme Park. Interestingly, they are teasing a scoop about Sonic the Hedgehog appearing in a fighting game developed by AM2, which would be Sonic the Fighters. Finally, at the bottom, X-Men, Children of the Atom, Virtua Cop, and 2 Shin Dens are also mentioned. It's a packed cover, showing off the hot games for the SEGA Saturn at the time. This page is an advert for SEGA Rally Championship on the SEGA Saturn, proclaiming the SEGA Rally Saturn round opening. It highlights the game as a major arcade hit now on Saturn. The ad emphasizes the exciting drifting action and mentions original works color cars and the beautiful graphics which faithfully recreate the arcade version. It also boasts about replay and arcade modes being included. The release date is set for December 29th, with a price of 5,800 yen for the drive version. Essentially, it's hyping up SEGA Rally as the must-have racer for the Saturn over the holiday season. This page is dedicated to the SEGA Saturn game Virtua Cop and the Virtua Gun. It's heavily promoting the game as the ultimate 3D gun shooting experience straight from the arcades, now on Saturn. They're really emphasizing the realism and immersion of the gameplay, mentioning the training mode to hone your skills and the 2-player mode for competitive action. The advert highlights the textured polygon graphics and the exciting, fast-paced tempo of the game that puts you right in the action. The page also showcases the Virtua Gun itself, describing its black body as being authentic, or Honkaku, suggesting a high-quality feel. There's a pricing breakdown too, a Virtua Cop set with the game and gun, a Virtua Cop single game, and a separate Virtua Gun purchase option. Additionally, there is a 5,000 yen cashback campaign for SEGA Saturn consoles being advertised, offering a discount when you buy a Saturn during the campaign period. This is likely to boost sales of both the console and Virtua Cop game. Overall, it's a full-page blast pushing Virtua Cop and the Virtua Gun as essential purchases for Saturn owners, promising an arcade-quality shooter experience at home. The next page showcases 2 games for the SEGA Saturn. At the top, it's advertising Clockwork Knight Pepperucci's Fortune Bag. This version is a renewal on a single CD and comes with a 96 calendar. They are highlighting it as a great value set for the popular Clockwork Knight series, mentioning improvements like renewed upper and lower scrolling, and packed with enjoyable parades like Boss on Parade and Movie on Parade for endless fun. It was set to release on December 15th, priced at 6,800 yen, including the 96 calendar. Below that, the page also features The Game Bug. It's touted as a completely 3D action game set on Bug Island. The description emphasizes the freedom of movement in all directions, left, right, up, down, and even foreground and background, giving you full 3D control in this world. The tagline is, Bug, jump, step, and get squashed. The new release price was 5,800 yen. This page advertises 2 games for the SEGA Saturn. Up top, it's all about Godzilla, with Godzilla Archipelago Shock. This is a simulation game where you battle as Godzilla and other monsters, like King Ghidorah and Destoroyah. It sounds like a strategy game where you use military weapons and special vehicles to combat these massive creatures. It was slated for release on December 22nd, priced at 5,800 yen for the SEGA Saturn version. There's also a Game Gear version mentioned called Godzilla Monster Great March, also a simulation, releasing at 5,500 yen. Down below is Ninku Knife of the Sky, which seems to be a fighting action game. It boasts polygon graphics, 3D battlefields, and around 40 different stages to fight in. They're really emphasizing the animation, saying it's done by the TV anime staff, and the character voices are just like in the show. It's a SEGA Saturn exclusive, and was set to release on February 2nd, 1996, priced at 5,800 yen, and it supports 2-player battles. It's being hyped as a violent fighting explosion type of game. This page is all about the Virtua Fighter CG Portrait Series. It's highlighting volumes 5 and 6, featuring Wolf Hawkfield and Lao Chan. These portraits are advertised as being made by the design team behind Virtua Fighter 3, offering original CG artwork. They also mention image vocal albums and single-cut karaoke from Virtua Fighter 2 Dancing Shadows are included. There's a lottery mentioned where 50,000 people can win a special Dural portrait if they collect 5 application tickets from the CG Portrait Series packages. You can also see the previous volumes 1 through 4, which are Sarah, Jackie, Akira, and Pain, all marked as currently on sale. Looking ahead, they're teasing volumes 7 to 10, Shun, Lion, Cage, and Jeffrey. Some of these future volumes have release dates listed in January and February of 1996, while others are simply listed as release date undecided. Down at the bottom, there's an ad for the Virtua Fighter 2 Sound Heroines Creeds, highlighting soundtracks for the game, and a small image of the Sega Saturn console itself. This page is dedicated to the Sega Saturn release of Toshinden, emphasizing its dramatic evolution on the platform. It highlights that this version retains all the great aspects of Takara's popular 3D fighting game, like its diverse characters and easy-to-use controls. What's new and exciting for Saturn owners are the CG movies that delve into each character's background and motivations for fighting. Plus, there's a brand new Saturn-exclusive character being introduced into the mix. They also mention a new Legend mode, which sounds like a story mode. You can see screenshots showcasing the in-game action and these enhanced CG movie scenes. The game was priced at 5,800 yen when newly released back in 1995. It really seems like they're pushing the Saturn version as the definitive experience for Toshinden. This page shines a spotlight on Wangen Dead Heat for the Sega Saturn, emphasizing its high-speed, polygon-powered racing action here. They're really pushing the smooth 30 frames per second gameplay and the thrill of 2-player battles. The game boasts 20 courses set along the Wangen, Bayside, Highway, encouraging players to master drifting techniques. It seems like they're highlighting different perspectives you can race from, promising triple the intensity. There's a scenario mode where you can drive with beautiful women, which is an interesting angle. You can see in-game screenshots showing the cockpit view, a chase camera, and night racing, giving you a good feel for the visual style. The game is slated for release on December 15th and will cost 6,800 yen. Developed by Victor, it also supports 3-dryphonic sound for an immersive experience. This page is an advertisement for the Victor V Saturn, showcasing a new add-on called the Twin Operator. The big news is that this Twin Operator allows your V Saturn to play both video crids and photo crids. The ad emphasizes that with the Twin Operator, you can enjoy video CD software and photo CD software on your Sega Saturn. For video CDs, it highlights playback control features like flash playback, slow playback, strobe playback, and program playback. It also mentions photocades in portfolio format can be used for enjoying photos with music and narration. Other features include image manipulation options like vertical/horizontal flipping, enlargement/reduction, and image pasting, specifically for photocades. There are screenshots showing examples of the media, one showcasing Virtua Fighter Special as a video CD title, and another featuring a photo CD called Look Hot Girl Summer Vacation. The ad also briefly touches on the V Saturn's technical capabilities, mentioning its 32-bit RISC CPU, high polygon performance, 16.7 million colors, and rich PCM 32-channel sound, reinforcing its position as a next-generation virtual game machine. The Twin Operator RGVC2 is priced at 21,000 yen, and a separate video CD decoder, the RGVC1, is also advertised at 19,800 yen. The next page is an exciting advertisement for the Sega Saturn release of Fist of the North Star. They're calling it a fighting explosion on the Sega Saturn and highlighting it as a super realistic fighting adventure game. It boasts impressive visuals, using a digital animation system called Catus, with over 7,000 animation frames to create really powerful graphics. The story is supervised by Baronson Sensei, the original creator of Fist of the North Star, and features a completely original scenario written by Hiroshi Toda from the anime series. To top it off, they've even used the original voice actors from the TV anime for the characters, ensuring a truly authentic experience. The ad mentions a story mode called Dark North Star, alongside versus modes where you can play against another person or the computer. It seems like the gameplay will focus on using those signature devastating special moves to quickly finish off opponents. You can see glimpses of the action in the screenshots, featuring characters like Kenshiro and Judd in intense battles. Keep an eye out for Fist of the North Star when it launches on December 22nd, priced at 5,800 yen for the Kree-drom. It's labeled as a fighting adventure game, suggesting there's more to it than just standard fighting gameplay. This page continues the hype for the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, Fist of the North Star. It's a very dramatic image focusing on the characters, with a large group shot featuring the main protagonist Kenshiro front and center, looking intense with his fist raised. You can see other key characters surrounding him, like the blonde-haired Rao, and other familiar faces from the series, all looking quite serious and ready for action. The title logo for the game is prominently displayed in a stylized, ice-like font. Below the image, there's some standard promotional text mentioning copyright information and contact details for Banpresto, the game's publisher. It's really emphasizing the power and drama of the Fist of the North Star world in its promotion for the SEGA Saturn release. This page is an advertisement for Konami's SEGA Saturn title, Chibi Maruko-chan Taikaisen Pazuru Dama. It's clearly a puzzle game based on the popular Chibi Maruko-chan anime and manga series. The advert is brightly colored and features Maruko and her friends prominently. It emphasizes the game's exhilarating chain attacks and positions it as a battle puzzle game. Notably, it states, Saturn Original, highlighting it as exclusive to the console. The release date is given as December 15th, and the price is 5,800 yen. At the bottom, there's some standard publisher info with the Konami logo and details about their Get the Soft campaign. Overall, it's a fun and inviting ad aimed at fans of Chibi Maruko-chan and puzzle game enthusiasts on the Saturn. This page is showcasing Konami SEGA Saturn software as the must-have item for the end of the year and New Year holidays. It's heavily promoting the game Tokimeki Memorial, Forever With You for the SEGA Saturn, advertising it as coming next spring with the price yet to be determined. There are screenshots from the game demonstrating dating scenarios. Besides Tokimeki Memorial, the page also highlights several other games under the tagline of This Is It. These include deluxe pack versions of games like Datana Twinbee, Yahoo! Deluxe Pack, and Puzzle Dama Deluxe Pack, both priced at 5,800 yen and described as feel-good shooting and thought-provoking shooting respectively. Jikyu Powerful Pro Yakyu 95 Kaimaku Ban is also featured, labeled as Pennant Race Waiting, and Iu Retsuden is presented as something to sharpen your concentration. Both of these are priced at 5,800 yen and 5,300 yen respectively. At the bottom of the page, there's information about a scratch card campaign, where purchasing Konami SEGA Saturn software gives you a chance to win prizes. A gold prize is 1 Konami SEGA Saturn software title, silver is 2 software titles, and bronze is also 2 software titles. There are also contact details for Konami customer support and sales offices across Japan. This page showcases 2 very different gaming experiences for the SEGA Saturn. At the top, there's a vibrant image promoting a fishing game, Deca Fishing, with the tagline, Exhilarating Fishing. The artwork features a huge bass leaping out of the water to grab a lure against a backdrop of striking blue cliffs and ocean. Below, on the left, is an advertisement for The King of Boxing. It boasts being a popular and massive hit, showing a muscular boxer ready for a fight. The game is priced at 5,800 yen. Finally, in the bottom right corner, there's a curious image of the Statue of Liberty with the Japanese text, Everyone, do you want to go to New York? It seems to be a general question or slogan, possibly unrelated to the games themselves, and more of a general message. The next page dives into the world of fishing games with a spotlight on sea bass fishing. This game is presented as a full-fledged sea fishing simulator, featuring realistic sea bass fishing. It boasts 2 game modes, a tournament mode, and a free fishing mode, all rendered in 3D polygon graphics. The game aims for realism, and even includes voice guidance from professional angler Masami Murakoshi, teaching players the basics of lure fishing and making it accessible to beginners. It was slated for release in late February of 1996 for 6,800 yen. Beneath the fishing game, we have a couple of adverts. On the left, there's America Udon Ultra Quiz, a quiz game based on a long-running and extremely popular TV show. This game promises to recreate the show's challenge with various quiz formats and minigames, all for 5,800 yen. Finally, on the right, we have Metal Fighter Miku, described as a near-future beautiful girl pro wrestling game. This title is based on an anime and features female pro wrestlers in a futuristic setting. It's priced at 6,800 yen. This page is dedicated to showcasing Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner. It's a full-page advert for the game, emphasizing its immersive 3D polygon dungeons and powerful surround sound, creating a strongly immoral world. The text teases players with unprecedented fear and horror through demon negotiations and fusions. The stylish character featured is likely the game's protagonist, adding to the cool and dangerous vibe. At the very bottom, there's a small section about staff recruitment by Atlus, listing roles like game planners, programmers, character designers, and store staff, along with their contact information and office hours for inquiries. This page highlights 2 games coming to the Sega Saturn. First up is Gunbird, a vertical scrolling shooter from SEGA, hitting Sega Saturn on December 25th, with a PlayStation version also releasing at the same time. It's set in early 20th century Europe and follows a fantastic adventure story with characters designed by Hirofumi Nakamura. The game boasts impressive demo scenes with voice acting from anime and movie professionals and features a consumer original mode, story mode, and a user participatory gallery mode. The price is 5,800 yen. The second game is King of Spirits, a racing game from Atlus. It's touted as the industry's first full polygon 3D racer to realistically model real mountain passes like Hakone, Ikoma, and Otorumi. You can customize your car with engine, tire, and suspension setups to conquer these courses. Game modes include time trial and versus mode for both single and 2 players, and it's compatible with Sega Saturn racing controllers. This game also costs 5,800 yen. This page spotlights a fishing game from MediaQuest. It seems to feature the well-known Japanese actor and fishing enthusiast Hiroki Matsukata, along with his assistant Tomoko Morimoto, suggesting they play a role in the game's presentation or are featured characters. A prominent lecture mode is highlighted, acting like a tutorial or guide, offering explanations about fishing equipment, techniques, and different fish species. Gameplay screenshots show in-game action focused on catching black bass, emphasizing the importance of understanding water temperature and lure characteristics to hook a big one. The game appears to offer a detailed fishing experience with a learning aspect through the lecture mode and practical application in the fishing gameplay itself. This page introduces World Fishing, a Sega Saturn game presented by Hiroki Matsukata. It emphasizes the realistic experience it offers, stating, "What is this reaction? What is this immersive feeling?" The game aims to be a true-to-life fishing simulation using polygon CG graphics and location-based movies. It's described as a full-fledged Sega Saturn title, where you can enjoy trolling for giant marlin and lure casting for black bass, reminiscent of the previous page. The text highlights the thrill of fighting big fish, using lure casting techniques for black bass, and emphasizes point and lure selection for successful fishing. It mentions that supervised by fishing expert and actor Hiroki Matsukata, the game incorporates overseas location shoots to recreate realistic fishing scenarios, promising an immersive experience of catching big fish. The game is stated to be under the supervision of the Japan Game Fish Association, JGFA. It's scheduled for release in January 1996, with a suggested retail price of 5,800 yen, excluding tax. The publishers are Mitsui Bussan Company, Limited, and MediaQuest is the developer. Sales cooperation is by BPS. This page showcases Assault Suits Lanos 2, originally titled Quo Vadis in Japan, a sci-fi simulation RPG for the Sega Saturn. The tagline at the top ponders why comrades must fight each other, hinting at a dramatic storyline focused on friendship and conflict. The text speaks of a future where peace is sought, but betrayal and battle between friends are inevitable. It mentions the Ibalcart's treaty allied forces and dreams of peace, suggesting a war-torn future setting. The visuals show a group of anime-style characters in military uniforms, likely the main cast. The game is highlighted as a SEGA Saturn exclusive and is set to release on December 21, 1995, with a standard price of 6,800 yen. This looks like a classic mecha strategy RPG with a deep narrative and compelling character drama, a genre the Saturn excels at. The next page is all about Assault Suits Lanos 2, known in Japan as Quo Vadis, a sci-fi simulation RPG for the Sega Saturn. This advert really emphasizes the grand scale of the game, calling it an epic masterpiece. It highlights the emotionally charged storyline, boasting a lengthy scenario that will really pull you in. A big selling point they are pushing is the character designs, which are handled by the renowned illustrator Haruhiko Mikimoto. Gameplay-wise, they're talking about deep strategic simulation elements, with intermission screens packed with information crucial to your missions. Combat involves maneuvering your forces against enemy fleets on a map using a simultaneous movement system, implying tactical depth. Visually, the game uses both cutting-edge digital animation for cinematic scenes and blends 2D animation with 3D CG for the battle sequences to create a realistic feel. And it has a simultaneous attack system. Story-wise, you play as Haru, who starts as a fresh captain after graduating officer school, and you'll guide him all the way up the ranks to become a marshal. The game promises a journey of growth and command. There's also promotion for a radio drama currently airing, a novelization that's already out, and plans for a strategy guide and art book. They also announced the theme song, and a 1996 calendar is already on sale. Finally, at the bottom, there's a recruitment ad for Glams, the game developer, seeking various staff roles. This page showcases the game Marriage for the Sega Saturn, billing it as a new sensation game where you can simulate marriage without any pressure. It's coming out on December 15th and will cost 6,800 yen. The game's tagline is, "Marriage, I think it's good," and it emphasizes experiencing your future and imaginary married life. They're even promoting a dual user system, suggesting both men and women can enjoy the game, perhaps implying some kind of multiplayer or shared experience aspect. Below the main artwork of a woman are portraits of 5 characters, likely to be romance options in the game. There are also screenshots showing in-game scenes, looking like typical dating sim or visual novel-style gameplay with dialogue boxes. It looks like you'll be navigating relationships and maybe even marriage proposals within the game. This page continues the introduction of Marriage for the Sega Saturn, reiterating its release date of December 15th and price of 6,800 yen. It's highlighted as a new sensation game, where you can experience marriage in a simulation. The page details that an illustration collection and strategy guide are also planned for release around March 96. Additionally, there's mention of a videoed edition of an original anime series, Part 1, set for release in spring 96. The bottom section emphasizes the game's concept of simulating marriage and how it's coming to the Sega Saturn, showcasing screenshots of the gameplay interface and character portraits that were mentioned on the previous page. This page introduces NEC Interchannel, a new company within the NEC Group. Their slogan is, "To engross the world with excellent software." They describe themselves as a channel that deeply connects users with interactive content, aiming to expand the world of multimedia and make it more enjoyable. NEC Interchannel plans to be involved in a wide range of activities, from planning and producing software for various platforms including PC-98, Windows, Macintosh, and game consoles, to sales and business development. They highlight their intention to release excellent CD-ROM titles and are also looking towards new ways of delivering content in the network era. The page features a stylized image of a person meditating, possibly symbolizing the channel aspect of their name and their goal of connecting users and content smoothly. NEC Interchannel is promoting several upcoming games. Debut Seas, an idol-raising simulation for Sega Saturn, tasks players with managing aspiring idols. Dukusei 2, a sequel for PCFX, promises improved graphics and gameplay. Graduation R, a simulation for PCFX and Windows, focuses on a school graduation theme. Dragon Knight 4, a simulation battle RPG for PCFX, introduces a new story. Monster Maker, Ark of Gods, for PC Engine, is a monster-raising simulation. Total Distortion, for Windows, is a music video creation game. Pixie Garden, a character design simulation for Mistos, involves creating a pixie world. Noah's Ark, a fantasy adventure for Do/V, PC 98, and Macintosh, is a puzzle adventure. Lastly, Mercurius Pretty, for Windows, is a maiden training simulation. This page advertises two different games for the Sega Saturn. Firstly, it features Theme Park by Bullfrog Productions. The advert highlights the concept that instead of just playing in a theme park, now you can build and manage your very own. It describes the game as a simulation where you aim to become the world's theme park tycoon by building your ideal park. You can design your park freely, choosing from various attractions and managing it to be successful. The page also advertises Strategy Shogi from Electronic Arts Victor. This game emphasizes that you can choose from 31 different computer strategies, making it suitable for anyone wanting to learn shogi, from beginners upwards. It mentions that you can deeply research strategies and that the pieces and board are displayed in polygons. It also mentions the game is good for beginners wanting to learn shogi. This page is an advertisement for the Sega Saturn game, Masters Harukanaru Augusta 3. The advert is themed around the year-end and New Year holidays and suggests spending time with the game. It uses a calendar for December to highlight various scenarios for playing Masters, like practice sessions, tournaments with university friends, a Christmas tournament with a girlfriend, and New Year family competitions, linking these to circled dates on the calendar. It also mentions the game is a good way to unwind after the bonus payday, implying it's a desirable purchase after getting paid. The advert points out 4 key improvements in this new Masters game. Firstly, the Saturn version boasts twice the polygon count compared to previous iterations, resulting in more detailed objects like trees and flowers. Secondly, it highlights the use of 32-bit power for fine texture mapping and garage shading, making bunkers and greens look incredibly smooth. Thirdly, it mentions enhanced mirror reflection processing on water surfaces, making clouds and trees beautifully reflected. Finally, it notes the inclusion of past Masters records, allowing players to challenge these records in a new event and aim to rewrite history. A Masters Records Challenge table is presented, listing various records like 4-day total score, 1-day score, half-course score, consecutive birdies, and long putt, alongside the record holders and years. The advert also mentions the game is officially licensed by Augusta National Golf Club and emphasizes detailed course design and topography to faithfully recreate the Augusta experience. This page is all about the Sega Saturn shogi game called Kanazawa Shogi. It's promoting itself as the definitive shogi software with a ton of features. It boasts a massive database of 1 million professional shogi games, which players can browse and study. For those looking to improve their skills, there are 400 checkmate problems ranging from beginner to advanced levels, plus another 250 next move problems to test your tactical thinking. You can also play against the computer, which has 3 different difficulty levels. The AI is developed by Mr. Morita and Mr. Hatabu from Kanazawa Shogi itself. There are also various fun modes, besides the standard game, and a shaking flying car designation function, which sounds like it allows for specific piece movement options, maybe related to handicap settings. The game is priced at 9,200 yen and is already getting good reviews. There's also a separate vibration flying car designated function software, also for Sega Saturn, priced at 7,900 yen, which might be a related or enhanced version of the game. It seems like a really comprehensive package for shogi enthusiasts on the Sega Saturn. There's even a small recruitment ad at the bottom, looking for graphic designers and programmers to join the development team. This page showcases 3 upcoming Sega Saturn titles. First up is Chaos Control, described as explosive 3D shooting, featuring futuristic aircraft battling over a city backdrop, with a recognizable Statue of Liberty element. Releasing in December 95, it's priced at 5,800 yen. Next to it is Black Fire, another 3D shooter, but this one looks to be set in a mountainous landscape with fiery explosions. This is also slated for a December 95 release, and the same price of 5,800 yen. At the bottom we have Gen War, billed as a real robot simulation entertainment. The screenshot shows a detailed mech robot. This one is scheduled for release a little later, in January 96, and is also priced at 5,800 yen. All 3 games are published by Virgin Interactive Entertainment for the Sega Saturn. The next page delves into the romantic world of fortune-telling, with Uranai Monogatari Love Edition. This game centers around a university student named Yaka Hachiro, who initially has bad luck with women and is considered a nice guy by girls. His life takes a turn when he encounters a mysterious fortune-teller in Chinese clothing who gives him a box containing Uranai Monogatari. From that day on, Hachiro's luck changes drastically, especially with women. The game seems to incorporate various types of fortune-telling, highlighted as the popular three great fortunes: name judgment, tarot fortune-telling, and Heisei fortune calendar. It's also mentioned that you can use name judgment to give good names to babies. The story unfolds with Hachiro becoming popular and giving fortune-telling to girls, including a girl named Era-chan. It appears the game explores themes of love, relationships, and how fortune-telling influences these aspects. The page also mentions that the game includes love compatibility readings. Finally, at the bottom, we see the game is coming to multiple platforms. The 3DS and Saturn versions are published by Ariadne and Cry respectively, and priced at 5,800 yen, both slated for release. The PlayStation version is from Tohoku Shinsha and also priced at 5,800 yen, set for December release. Lastly, the Macintosh Windows version from Bices is also priced at 5,800 yen and planned for a December release. This page advertises several games from Sunsoft. Myst, an award-winning PC game, is featured with screenshots showcasing its mysterious island and costs 7,800 yen. Popoito Hibareke, a puzzle game with multiple modes like story and battle, is priced at 6,000 yen. Shanghai Triple Threat offers 3 Shanghai-style games, along with table games, and costs 6,800 yen. The advertisement also includes the Saturn Pad controller, with various functions for 3,480 yen. A strategy game, Wanli no Shuju, The Great Wall, set in ancient China, is also showcased for 6,800 yen. Finally, Oju-sama ga Kirei, a cute puzzle game with pixel art and a cartoon cat, is available for 4,900 yen. This page introduces the 3RAD, a 3D sound enhancer for television and computer games made by HAL Corporation. It emphasizes the immersive audio experience using SRS 3D sound technology developed in America. The advert uses dynamic imagery of a kid totally engrossed in gaming, surrounded by sound effect words, to convey the product's impact. It promises to transform your room into a movie theater or game center with powerful 3D sound, letting you feel monster roars and engine noises realistically, creating a virtual reality audio experience. The 3RAD device itself is pictured, showing its controls, and is priced at 7,800 yen. It also states, made in USA, and lists various retailers where you can purchase it, including stores like Emerson, Toys R Us, and various electronics and game retailers. This page is an advert for Princess Maker 2 on the SEGA Saturn. It highlights the game as the pinnacle of raising simulation games, promising impressive graphics and over 100 characters who speak, creating a luxurious experience. The advert mentions it's the second installment in the Princess Maker series and is finally available on SEGA Saturn. It also boasts about the high-quality graphics. The advert includes screenshots of the gameplay interface and in-game scenes. It lists staff credits including original creators, illustrators, and voice actors, naming prominent voice talents for the games. The advert also has a red banner declaring, SEGA Saturn Quadrom Software Popular Release, with a price of 7,800 yen, and mentions a premium goods gift for the first press edition. At the bottom, it clearly states the release date for the 3D version Princess Maker 2 as December 9, 1995. This page is a full-page advert showcasing the Taito/Kyocera Multimedia Corporation's X55 DataNet station, a home communication karaoke system. Here, they're really pushing it as the next big thing in home entertainment, highlighting its massive library of 10,000 songs available for download. They're saying it's super fast, only 35 seconds to download a song, and pretty cheap too, at just 30 yen per song, plus 10 yen for phone charges. Apparently the monthly basic fee is 1,500 yen. Beyond just karaoke, they're also launching a TV game service on December 24th, starting with familiar names like Space Invaders 1995, tentative title, and Cleopatra Fortune, tentative title. Seems like they are trying to combine karaoke and gaming into one home entertainment unit. The price for the X55 system itself is 64,800 yen, which includes a dynamic microphone. They are really trying to get people excited for this new multimedia experience, hitting homes just in time for Christmas. This page is an advertisement for Yoyogi Animation Academy, a vocational school focused on animation and creative industries. They are boasting a very high employment rate of 97.74%, emphasizing their superior facilities and practical hands-on training. The ad includes testimonials and features instructors like Akira Tago. They offer a wide array of courses, covering everything from multimedia creator and CG animation to VFX, visual illustration, junior novels, animator, manga and comic art, and even voice acting. With courses generally lasting 1 or 2 years, they are promoting free trial lessons, free school information sessions, and open campus days at their various campuses across Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, Fukuoka, and more. They are also holding auditions nationwide to discover new voice acting and other talents. The next page is an advertisement for the TV Panic Winter Games Special 95-96 campaign. It's a CD Rush event running until December 31st, where you can win prizes at their stores, including software for both SEGA Saturn and PlayStation. They're emphasizing early bird gets the worm, encouraging customers to come in quickly as Kydrum catalogs and prizes will run out. If you pre-order CD software, you'll receive a popular character goods item as a present. Buying CD software also gets you a TV Panic Original All-CD catalog as a present, plus a scratch card to win even more convenient CD goods. The campaign covers PlayStation, Saturn, and Super Famicom, offering new hardware and software, and even promises bonus prizes. The campaign started on December 8th and is nationwide. The bottom half of the page lists numerous TV Panic store locations across Japan, organized by prefecture, with their phone numbers. This page is another part of the TV Panic campaign, and it's a quiz where you can win a Sharp LCD TV called The Window. They're giving away 50 of these 10.4-inch TVs. To enter, you need to answer a quiz question and send your answer on a postcard with your details to TV Panic. The clue for the quiz is apparently hidden in the advertisement itself, and the deadline for entries is January 10th, postmark valid. The quiz question is about the name of the shop. It asks, what is the name of the store written in katakana? The options given are 1 Television Panic, 2 Television Game Panic, and 3 TV Panic. It seems the correct answer is option 3, TV Panic, as seen prominently displayed on the page itself and consistent with the previous page's information. Below the quiz and prize details, there's a large list of TV Panic store locations across different prefectures, similar to the previous page, continuing the store directory. This list details store names and phone numbers across regions like Kanagawa, Yamanashi, Nagano, Shizuoka, Gifu, Aichi, Mie, Toyama, Ishikawa, Fukui, Shiga, Kyoto, Osaka, Hyogo, Nara, Wakayama, Tottori, Okayama, Hiroshima, Yamaguchi, Tokushima, Kagawa, Ehime, Kochi, Fukuoka, Saga, Nagasaki, Kumamoto, Oita, Miyazaki, Kagoshima, and Okinawa. This is basically a continuation of the store list from the previous page, confirming the nationwide reach of the TV Panic campaign. This page is an advert for the SEGA Saturn game Virtua Photo Studio, and right away it's got an 18+ age rating slapped on it, so you know what kind of photos we're talking about here. It seems you're playing as a photographer, and you're trying to take good pictures of these ladies. The text talks about being told off by the photographer, Mr. Nishidera, and mentions things like luggage to take home, and how about a little more skin? He seems pretty demanding. The ad hints that you need to have good sense and daring to get his approval and keep the models happy. But if you do well, you'll get great photos, and they guarantee it'll be fun. There's also a mention of a sexy making video as a present, which is probably related to a questionnaire for the game. It mentions the Saturn version of Virtua Photo Studio is coming out in January 96 and will cost 6,800 yen. This page is showcasing the Photo CD Digital Photo Idol series, with 3 different volumes, all releasing on December 18th. First up is Tsunameri-kun, featuring Remi Yahiro. Described as a voice idol series Volume 1, the tagline asks, "Hey, Tsunameri-kun, do you know?" and hints at a dramatic story unfolding where you meet Remi-chan by the sea. Next we have Stories, with Akari Tsujikawa, labeled as Idol Series Volume 1. The photographer is Tani Naoki, and the description highlights Akari as a popular commercial model, emphasizing her cuteness and showcasing her in 6 different stories with various outfits like swimsuits and evening dresses, promising a voluminous 20-year-old body. This photo CD is compatible with multiple formats, including SEGA Saturn. Finally, there's Je t'aime, featuring Sayuri Miura as Idol Series Volume 2. Photographed by Kitamura Hajime, Sayuri is described as a grown-up idol with sexy poses, a power-up from her men's Nano girlfriend days. The description talks about studio strobe lighting, sunset scenes, slender body lines, outdoor shoots at the beach, and capturing her adult beauty. This one also mentions Kodak Photo CD for quality. There's a small section promoting Virtua Photo CD Real Feel, explaining that photo seeds are mixed media for both computers and TVs, recommending Kodak photo seeds for high image quality, and emphasizing the immersive experience that engages all 5 senses. The next issue will feature Sabrina, Shima Sayuri, and Tagawa Kumiko in the same series. Each photo CD is priced at 2,800 yen. This page is announcing a special giveaway from SEGA Saturn Magazine, celebrating their bi-monthly publication schedule. They're giving away 100 copies of Virtua Fighter 2 software to lucky readers. It's a reader appreciation gift, and to enter, you need to use the application ticket from the bottom left of the page, paste it on a postcard, fill in your details like address, name, age, and phone number, and send it to the provided address in Tokyo. The deadline to apply is December 22nd, 1995, and the winners will be announced in the January 26th issue of the magazine. There's an image of Virtua Fighter characters in action, and the Sega Saturn console itself is also prominently featured. It's a last-chance reminder to apply, and a big call to action for readers to participate in this prize draw to win Virtua Fighter 2. The next page features 2 game guidebooks being advertised. At the top, there's a guide for Virtua Fighter 2 on the Sega Saturn. This is promoted as a perfect guide, and it looks like it covers everything from character-specific tactics and strategies for tackling the CPU and ranking modes, right through to advanced techniques. They're highlighting that it includes detailed information and strategy pages from SEGA Saturn Magazine itself. This guide is scheduled for release in mid-January 96 and will cost 980 yen. Below that, there's an advert for the Metal Fighter Miku official setting material collection. This one's for fans of Metal Fighter Miku, and it seems to be packed with official background information and design details. Interestingly, it mentions that a special Kaidrom is included, which contains a special edition Phantom Confrontation Miku vs. Sapphire. It's clarified that this special edition is not playable as a full game, but it is an extra bonus on the Kaidrom. This collection is coming out late January 96 and is priced at 2,500 yen. This page is the contents page for SEGA Saturn Magazine Volume 14, dated December 22, 1995. Virtua Fighter 2 is clearly the cover feature. It looks like there's a big guide inside, covering all character CPU strategies, the latest information, dual commands, and special options for the game. Beyond Virtua Fighter 2, the magazine also has special reports on Panzer Dragoon Zwei, Sega Rally Championship, what looks like visual novels or dating sims like DocuSay If and Graduation S, and RPG-S like Monster Maker, Holy Dagger and Birth S. Street Fighter Zero, which we know internationally as Street Fighter Alpha, is also mentioned. There's an interesting AM2 Research Express Neo Scoop section, teasing a fighting game featuring Sonic the Hedgehog that's supposedly being developed by AM2, under the tentative title, Fighting Sonic. We see a large image of Sarah Bryant from Virtua Fighter on the left side of the page, and some smaller game screenshots along the bottom, presumably related to the titles mentioned. This page showcases Sega Saturn game releases, both new and upcoming, alongside a guide to existing software. New releases include diverse titles such as Gulliver Boy, Virtua Photo Studio, The Gen War, Return to Zork, and a variety of Japanese-themed games like Mahjong and Pachinko titles. Sports fans can enjoy NBA Jam, and puzzle enthusiasts get Rob Pit and Kurin Pa. The Coming Soon section highlights anticipated games, including RPGs like Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner and Guardian Heroes, action RPGs like Dark Savior and Vampire Hunter, and strategy games like Quo Vadis and Theme Park, racing, action, and a vast array of other genres, including Darius Gaiden and King of Fighters 95, are also featured. The page also includes a guide to games like X-Men, Children of the Atom, Virtua Cop, Chibi Maruko-chan, No Taisen Puzzle Dama, and Tushin Den Res, alongside a comprehensive alphabetical game index. This page is all about the Sega Saturn release of The Game of Life DX in Japan. It's being promoted as the definitive board game experience coming to the Sega Saturn console. The page highlights it as a game where life's events are decided by a roulette, offering unpredictable situations at every turn. It emphasizes that you can experience a life you've never known before through this DX Game of Life simulation. Screenshots showcase various in-game scenarios, from choosing courses like Hurry Up or Leisurely, to encountering characters like a cute blonde boy with a wand and a mischievous-looking imp. The text highlights the fun and variety of life within the game, with phrases like, "Life is interesting because it's varied." The game boasts features such as unpredictable events, a choice of 3 courses, and the ability to play with up to 4 players. It's scheduled for release on December 15th and priced at 5,800 yen. The next page covers the Sega Saturn first anniversary event held at Toshimaen Amusement Park. This was a large-scale event spanning 3 days from November 23rd to 25th in Tokyo, celebrating the Saturn's first year. The event was packed with excited users and featured a dedicated Sega Saturn hall showcasing upcoming titles like Virtua Fighter 2, Virtua Fighter Kids, and Vampire Hunter, which were all playable for the first time. There were also stage events, including an announcement and presentation for Panzer Dragoon Zwei. The crowds were massive, with attendees lining up from early morning. The event also marked the start of the Brain Bursting Tour 95, a national tour event. Saturn Magazine itself also had a booth at the event, selling back issues. Adding to the excitement, Taiwanese singer Vivian Xu even made an appearance on the main stage on the 23rd, performing the ending theme for the TV anime Virtua Fighter, titled Myth of the Lips, and even interacting with fans. Merchandise was on sale featuring game characters like Sonic and characters from Virtua Fighter 2 and Vampire Hunter, with items ranging from t-shirts to mugs and mousepads. This page announces several new products and events. Taito is launching the X55 home karaoke system, with 10,000 plus songs and additional services. Priced around 64,800 yen, the original Sonic the Hedgehog anime video is set for a January 26th release. Voice recording with key cast members was completed in mid-November. A sea bass fishing game tournament, a collaboration between Victor Entertainment and Daiwa Seiko, was held from November 2nd to 5th. Hori Electric's Real Arcade VF joystick for Virtua Fighter 2 will be available for 4,500 yen. Finally, new music releases include albums by Makoto Kingetsu, Noriko Hidaka, My Little Lover, Hiromi Hirose, Silent Mobius, and Yui Nishiwaki, plus a Tengen Maken Shinran soundtrack. This page showcases the top-selling Sega Saturn games and the most popular arcade games at the moment. Starting with the Saturn charts, Puyo Puyo 2 is still holding strong at number 1, showing puzzle games are always a hit. Proving Live Information is at number 2, proving racing games are also super popular. SimCity 2000, World Advanced War Strategy, and Hang On Jeep 95 are also in the top 5, showing a variety of genres are doing well, from simulation to strategy to racing. Further down the top 10, we have King of Boxing, Princess Maker 2, Wing Arms, Sega International Victory Goal, and Virtua Fighter CG Portrait Series featuring Sarah Bryant to round things out. Moving on to the arcade scene, Fighting Vipers and Puzzle Bobble 2 are in the top 5 arcade games. It mentions that Sega's AM2 Research Division has a new super hit in the works, a Sonic the Hedgehog fighting game using the Model 2 board, which is exciting news as arcade games are heading towards next year. The page then lists the top 5 arcade games in a table format. Iron Man 2 from Namco tops the arcade chart, followed by Virtua Fighter 2, Fighting Vipers, Virtua Cop 2, all from Sega, and Puzzle Bobble 2 from Taito in the top 5, showing Sega's dominance in the arcades right now with their games. This page details fan and shop expectations for Sega Saturn games. User data reveals top port requests. Tekken, Final Fantasy, Virtua Striker, and Dragon Quest are highly desired. Other popular requests include Rayforce, Police Story, Phantasy Star, Sonic, and Ace Combat. NEC Interchannel is realizing the Dukyusei series, with more ports promised. Shop data highlights most anticipated new games. Sega Rally Championship leads with 335 points, followed by Vampire Hunter and Street Fighter Zero. VF2 and Sega Rally are highly sought after due to their quality. Vampire Hunter is in development, with screenshots promised. Street Fighter Zero is expected to be a high-quality port. The top 15 also includes King of Fighters 95, Guardian Heroes, Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, and other titles. A check section showcases Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, and 3x3 Eyes, highlighting their features and graphics. SEGA Saturn Readers Race Volume 13 features a reader-voted ranking of 80 games. The issue reviews several new releases. Princess Maker 2 earns an 8.76, praised for its improved graphics and gameplay. King of Boxing receives an 8.43, highlighting its strategic boxing style. Yuyake Goyomitsu 2, a puzzle game, scores an 8.29, lauded for its presentation. Smaller sections cover Virtua Fighter 2's upcoming release, anticipating its impact on rankings. Schools Out. Kuku no Kawaii Uwasa, Hanako ga Kita gets a 7.5, deemed potentially aimed at younger audiences. This page continues, the SEGA Saturn Readers Race Volume 13 game reviews and rankings. We see reviews for a few more new titles. Steampunk Gears is reviewed with a score of 7.0833, praised for its graphics and ending, but noted for complex controls. AI Shogi gets a 6.4166 and is considered a standard shogi game, suitable for beginners. Kingdom Grand Prix is scored at 8.064, celebrated for its fun gameplay and sense of speed. Virtua Cop is highly rated at 9.135, recognized for its polished presentation and immersive soundtrack. There's a section featuring reader comments, mentioning anticipation for Virtua Fighter 2 and other titles like Myst and Sega. The magazine highlights the excitement around Virtua Fighter 2 and its expected impact on the game rankings. Readers are also encouraged to participate in prediction contests and game reviews. A peripheral ranking chart is shown, dominated by Hori brand controllers, securing the top 2 spots for both joysticks and pads. The magazine is running a reader participation campaign, where prizes like joysticks and power memory are up for grabs. Finally, there are sections prompting reader feedback on games like Baku Baku Animal and VF Live information, and an odds forecast section asking readers to predict game rankings. This page is a feature focusing on Virtua Fighter 2 and reveals a scoop about being able to play as Dural, the boss character. It seems that just like in the arcade version 2.1, you can also use Dural in the Sega Saturn version. The page details the secret command to unlock Dural on the character select screen, input down, up, right, A, and left simultaneously. If done correctly, Dural will appear as a selectable character on the screen. The page emphasizes this is possible in both the 2 and 2.1 versions on Saturn, and mentions it works with joypads or joysticks. There's also a message from AM2, the developers, confirming this Dural command for the Saturn version, and that the command input window is more generous than the arcade. For more in-depth information about playing as Dural, readers are directed to page 52. Virtua Fighter 2 offers a hidden Option Plus mode after completing the game, rewarding dedicated players with extensive customization options. This mode unlocks a new menu with features like Stage Select, allowing players to choose any stage. Stage Side lets you adjust the fighting ring size from 8 to 42 meters, altering gameplay significantly. Replay Time customizes victory replay lengths, and BGM volume adjusts background music. Slow Mode transforms all stages, and Watch Mode Viewpoint Change provides varied camera angles. Finally, BGM to 1 in arcade mode forces the Jackie stealth theme. These additions demonstrate AM2's commitment to player feedback, offering replayability and exciting new ways to experience Virtua Fighter 2. This page delves into the CPU strategies for Virtua Fighter 2 on the Sega Saturn. It's a guide from AM2 developers to understand how the CPU AI changes across different game modes and difficulty levels. Lesson 1 explains that the CPU behavior adapts depending on the game mode. In arcade mode, the AI mimics the arcade version, but is tweaked for the Saturn. It gets harder on higher difficulty settings, using unique Saturn-specific algorithms. Expert mode boasts a complete arcade experience, challenging players to use all their skills and techniques. Team Battle Mode features CPU opponents behaving similarly to arcade and expert modes. Watch Mode utilizes basic CPU logic, primarily for observing character movements and techniques, not for serious gameplay. Lesson 2 introduces the rank certification mode, where players aim to achieve higher ranks, up to Meijin, Master, judged across 15 levels. The criteria for rank evaluation include clearing stages, time taken, technical points, and overall score. To get a good score in rank certification, it's crucial to consider technical points, which involve performing varied techniques. Using throw techniques repeatedly in rank certification is ineffective. Also, certain moves are considered similar techniques when evaluating technical points. The page mentions Virtua Fighter 2 screenshots and references characters like Cage, Shun, and Jackie within the context of CPU behavior and strategies in different game modes. This page is dedicated to mastering Dural in Virtua Fighter 2, highlighting her unique fighting style. We see Dural described as a bioweapon, developed by Judgment 6, piloted by the Devil, created for the Ultimate Martial Arts Tournament. There's a section showcasing Dural's victory poses, emphasizing that they are the same as other characters like Akira and Shun, but completely silent. The page then dives into Dural's techniques. It's broken down into two main sections: Dural's unique techniques and Dural's throwing and counter techniques. For unique techniques, it mentions the importance of getting close to your opponent and using down attacks to gain an advantage. Examples like the stepping shoulder and rolling elbow are listed with input commands, suggesting they are powerful moves to use in close combat and for initiating air combos. Moving on to throwing and counter techniques, the page points out that Dural's throws are simple to execute and link into combos, causing significant damage. Giant Swing is highlighted as a powerful throw, and countering throws is advised to become truly invincible. The page also mentions using throws and counters from different positions, like near, shadow stalk, and various counters, listing examples like knee bash and small hand throw, with corresponding commands against characters like Cage, Jeffrey, and Wolf. Overall, the guide emphasizes Dural's strength in close combat, her effective throws and counter options, making her a formidable character if these techniques are mastered. This guide to Dural in Virtua Fighter 2 covers her original and fixed techniques. It highlights 3 original moves: Elbow Summer, Combo Elbow Summer, and Floating Body Renko. Dural's fighting strategy emphasizes close quarters combat like Jackie's, using a mix of high and mid-level attacks to pressure opponents, setting up throws, and capitalizing on counterattacks. Continuous techniques, like Stalking Drop and Knee Bash, are detailed as combo starters after throws. The guide stresses the importance of getting opponents airborne for maximum combo damage. A comprehensive move list table categorizes techniques by striking, throwing, and counter techniques, including commands and attack levels. The guide advises an aggressive, attacking style, stressing mastery of Dural's techniques for overwhelming opponents and reaching her full potential. This page is a strategy guide focused on beating CPU Lao Chan in Virtua Fighter 2. Written by Kano Asaomi, it emphasizes using Lao's counter moves and throws against predictable CPU opponents. The guide breaks down CPU Lao's tendencies and how to counter them across different stages. Stage 1 versus Lao focuses on exploiting his predictable throws, suggesting quick throws and counter throws as effective tactics. Stage 2 versus Sarah highlights Sarah's speed and combo ability, recommending a counterattacking strategy using Lao's superior power to punish her rush attacks, particularly her jumping attacks. The CPU Lao tendencies and countermeasures section details that CPU Lao doesn't guard much, favoring attacks, especially throws. It recommends using throws and counter throws to exploit this. The guide also notes, at higher difficulty levels, CPU Lao becomes more aggressive with throws and aerial attacks, advising players to be cautious. It mentions the spinning piledriver as a key throw to be aware of. The ranking mode strategy section focuses on clearing the aerial 4-hit combo challenge. It suggests practicing basic throws and aerial combos with LeFou, Sarah, Shun, and Pai. It advises using throws to finish rounds quickly against CPU Lao and Sarah in ranking mode, and that mastering aerial 4-hit combos is crucial for success. This guide covers stages 3 to 11 of Virtua Fighter 2. Facing Shun, Stage 3, use forward dashes and throws. Against Pei, Stage 4, play defensively and throw after her guard. Lion, Stage 5, is countered with jump attacks and throws. Jeffrey, Stage 6, requires timed attacks and throws at close range. For Cage, Stage 7, use quick mid-kicks and throws. Jack, Stage 8, is best countered with dash hammer kicks and throws. Wolf, Stage 9, is vulnerable to throws after his jumping attacks. Against Akira, Stage 10, step back and utilize throws. Finally, Dural, Stage 11, requires patience, employing throws, jump attacks, and finishing air combos with ground attacks. The guide also includes Lau's regulation moves, detailing key moves like spinning wheel kick, body blow palm strike, aerial flying swallow kick, and crouching tiger cannon. These moves, including throws and counter throws, are crucial for success when utilized correctly. This guide focuses on defeating Sarah Bryant in Virtua Fighter 2's CPU battles. It emphasizes mastering complex strategies and combos over basic moves for a more rewarding experience. Early stage CPU Sarah is beginner-friendly, but increases in difficulty with more complex attacks. The guide highlights Sarah's defensive tendencies in Stage 2, promoting throws and ring-out strategies, given her lower health. Key moves to watch are Somersault from Behind and DJB, both countered by throws. Ranking mode is considered easier than the arcade version. Fundamental techniques include front suplex and neck breaker. Specific character counters are provided. Backdrops for Lion and Wolf. Double step knees for Pi. Overall, the guide recommends prioritizing throws and combo attacks, using moves like somersaults for air juggles, and emphasizing precise throws for victory. This guide provides strategies for fighting various opponents in Virtua Fighter 2, covering stages 3 through 11. Against Shun, Stage 3, counter his attacks with aerial turn rose spin kicks, followed by down attacks. For Jeffrey, Stage 6, bait attacks with double joint pads and use throws. Wolf, Stage 9, is vulnerable to powerbomb throws and backdrops. Pi, Stage 4, can be defeated with jackknife kick and double joint pad combos, while Cage, Stage 7, is susceptible to pressure from double joint pads. Akira, Stage 10, requires guarding against his double joint pads and countering with throws, especially turn rose spin kicks. Lion, Stage 5, benefits from jackknife kicks and throws. Jackie, Stage 8, is countered with jackknife kicks and knee strikes. Finally, Dural, Stage 11, is best handled with jump kicks and heel kicks. The guide also lists reliable standard techniques for Sarah, like neck breaker cart drop and backdrop. This page is a strategy guide focused on defeating Shundi in Virtua Fighter 2's CPU battles. It's titled Shundi CPU Strategy Guide and is written by KK Fubuki. The guide breaks down Shundi's AI tendencies and how to counter them, emphasizing understanding his attack patterns and exploiting his weaknesses. The guide mentions that in normal difficulty, Shundi doesn't use throws much, but on harder difficulties, he becomes more aggressive with throws and drinking attacks. The advice is to anticipate his moves and use aerial turn rose spin kicks into down attacks, as mentioned on the previous page, and to be aware of counter opportunities. The page also highlights essential CPU tactics to learn, such as empty jump combos and continuous attacks, emphasizing the need to memorize CPU patterns. It then discusses ranking mode strategies and advanced techniques to master, pointing out the importance of reliable standard techniques and consistent execution to climb the ranking ladder. Specific character matchups are mentioned, with Stage 1 against Lau and Stage 2 against Sarah being highlighted as examples, with specific move recommendations like the Moon Slash, likely referring to the Getsuga or similar move in English, for Lau, and aerial combos for Sarah. The guide advises using jump kicks and heel kicks against Dural based on the previous page's strategies. Overall, the page is about providing in-depth tactics for overcoming the CPU in Virtua Fighter 2, particularly focusing on Shundi and advanced play in ranking mode. This guide provides strategies for Virtua Fighter 2's CPU battles, covering stages 3 to 11. Key opponents and tactics include Shun, Stage 3, aerial attacks and adaptation. Pi, Stage 4, middle thrusts, flying kicks, and counters to her heel kicks. Lion, Stage 5, guard and counter after his attacks, moon slashes. Jeffrey, Stage 6, exploit his throw vulnerability. Cage, Stage 7, avoid ring edges and counter his throws. Jackie, Stage 8, evade throws and time counterattacks. Wolf, Stage 9, start with a K-press, use throws and pile drivers. Akira, Stage 10, avoid his body blows, use throws and keep distance. Dural, Stage 11, use throws, especially command throws, and reliable techniques. A section is dedicated to Shundi's special moves, like the Emperor Fist, with listed button inputs for each. This page continues the Virtua Fighter 2 CPU Character Strategy Guide, now focusing on strategies when playing as Pei-chan. The page highlights Pei's strengths, stating she excels at speed and fundamental fighting. It then breaks down CPU Pei's tendencies, noting her frequent use of throws, especially command throws like Reijin Sohatenkyaku and Empu. The guide advises countering these throws and using return techniques effectively. There is a section titled, CPU is made to remember this, which details combos and techniques Pain can use to defeat opponents, such as aerial combos and throw follow-ups. The guide then moves on to specific stage strategies. Stage 1 versus Lahalwa emphasizes using throws, predicting his attacks, and using counter throws when he gets close. Stage 2 versus Sarah recommends using throws, being mindful of punch speed, and utilizing throws like Onpu and Reijin Sohatenkyaku. It also mentions exploiting ringouts. Finally, there's a section on ranking mode strategy, highlighting the importance of mastering basic moves like upper punch, middle punch, and middle kick reversal throws to climb the ranks. The page concludes by reiterating the importance of return techniques and throws for Pain, emphasizing practicing different throw variations to secure victories. This page continues the Virtua Fighter 2 CPU Battle Guide, moving on to strategies for stages 3 to 11. Stage 3 is against Shun Dai, where using throws and countering his lower attacks is key. For stage 6 versus Jeffrey, the guide suggests countering his throws and utilizing your own throws offensively. Stage 9 against Wolf is similar, emphasizing throws and countering. Stage 10 is against Akira, and again, throws and counter throws are highlighted as effective tactics. Interestingly, Stage 4 is also mentioned again as Pain, perhaps reinforcing earlier advice, but it mainly points back to using throws and counter throws, which were already discussed. Moving on, for Stage 7 against Kaj, quick throws and down punches are advised, which also seems relevant for Stage 8 against Jackie, suggesting a similar approach. Stage 5 is against Lion, where the guide recommends using throws, particularly after evading his attacks. Finally, for the challenging Stage 11 against Dural, jumping throws are recommended, especially after Dural teleports, to secure a quick victory. Below the stage strategies, there's a section detailing Pei's standard techniques, presenting a move list with button inputs for various throws, strikes, and countermoves. These are described as essential for Pei's fighting style and gameplay. This page continues the Virtua Fighter 2 CPU Character Guide, focusing on Lion Raphael. It describes Lion as a tricky character who uses unique moves and is designed to be different from other characters when controlled by the CPU. The AM2 development team notes that CPU Lion often uses down attacks and throws, requiring players to be cautious and employ guard techniques. The guide then details CPU Lion's tendencies and countermeasures, advising players to use throws and counter throws against him. It highlights the importance of avoiding predictable moves and exploiting openings after evading his attacks. It also points out key moves CPU Lion uses, like jumping attacks and throws, and suggests strategies to counter them with guarding and throws. Moving to the ranking mode strategy, it rates Lion's difficulty as 4 stars out of 5, indicating a high challenge. The guide advises focusing on strike attacks in the first half of a match and switching to throws in the second half. It then provides specific strategies for stages against Lamau in Stage 1 and Sarah in Stage 2. For Lamau, it suggests using throws after evading his attacks. Against Sarah, it recommends avoiding combos and using counter throws and rolling attacks. The page features screenshots of Virtua Fighter 2 gameplay, showcasing Lion in action against Lau and Sarah. Finally, at the bottom, there is a section detailing command inputs for moves, focusing on offensive and defensive techniques. This guide provides strategies for CPU opponents in Virtua Fighter 2, Stages 3 to 11. Against Shun, Stage 3, focus on low attacks to counter his unpredictable style. Pai, Stage 4, is defeated by quick attacks and throws. Lion, Stage 5, is vulnerable to throws and counter throws. Jeffrey, Stage 6, can be beaten by unpredictable throws and counter throws. Cage, Stage 7, is best countered with distance and stepping attacks. Against Jackie, Stage 8, be defensive and counter his openings. Wolf, Stage 9, can be countered by evading his initial attacks. Akira, Stage 10, requires patience, exploiting openings with throws and dashes. Dural, Stage 11, demands reactive play, countering openings and utilizing throws. The guide also includes a section on Lion's standard techniques. This guide focuses on strategies for facing Jeffrey McWild in Virtua Fighter 2. Jeffrey is a strong character, known for powerful throws, making him a threat, especially to newer players. Players are advised to avoid situations that allow Jeffrey to throw, and to be cautious of his down attacks. Countermeasures include single-hit attacks and counter throws, with a recommendation to make Jeffrey remember the triple headbutt. In ranking mode, Jeffrey becomes a tougher opponent at higher levels. Ring outs and mastering the machine gun knee lift are crucial. Early rounds prioritize techniques like hip attack and heel stomp, followed by setting up the machine gun knee lift. Later rounds involve ring outs and using techniques like triple headbutt. Against specific characters like Lion, mid-range combinations, throws, and transitions to machine gun knee lift are effective. A final recommended combo is splash into stone ping and front back breaker. Difficulty to master Jeffrey is rated at 4 out of 5 stars. This guide provides strategies for battling CPU opponents in Virtua Fighter 2, covering stages 3 to 11. Facing Shun, Stage 3, utilize jump attacks and throws. Against Pi, Stage 4, maintain distance and watch for middle kicks. In Stage 5, counter Lion with standing punches and down attacks. For Jeffrey, Stage 6, use throws and distance attacks. In Stage 7, employ hip attacks and throws against Cage, capitalizing on ring-out opportunities. Versus Jackie, Stage 8, use throws and the dash hammer kick, mindful of his guard. Against Wolf, Stage 9, throws and back throws are effective, along with jump kicks at the start. For Akira, Stage 10, keep distance and use dash throws and front backbreakers. Finally, against the formidable Dural, Stage 11, play cautiously and throw her with splash moves. The guide also details Jeffrey's standard techniques, including button inputs and descriptions of various moves, like the machine gun knee lift and triple headbutt. This Virtua Fighter 2 guide focuses on defeating CPU-controlled Kagemaru. The guide highlights Kagemaru's aggressive CPU style, emphasizing his shadow slide and throws. To counter him, players should read his attacks, use medium punches or PPP to break guards, and counter with throws. Ring-outs are viable, but hard strikes can be risky. Safer options include thunderous flying kicks or medium kicks. The guide then shifts to ranking mode tactics, noting that achieving high ranks requires mastering techniques like the needle throw, sky combo, and falling leaf return. It provides button inputs for these. Stage-specific strategies are provided for Leo, Stage 1, and Sarah, Stage 2, focusing on ring-outs, low attacks, and punch-slash-throw combinations. The guide concludes by stressing the importance of lever input, timing, and practicing specific techniques like the wolf throw, blade leg, and the falling leaf whirlwind kick. This guide provides strategies for CPU opponents in Virtua Fighter 2, covering stages 3 to 11. Against Shun D, Stage 3, prioritize guarding and punishing. Stage. Jeffrey requires interrupting attacks and ring-out awareness. Wolf Hawkfield, Stage 9, demands throw-based strategies. Pai Chan, Stage 4, emphasizes ring-out prevention and guard breaking. Kagemaru, Stage 7, is vulnerable to crouch strikes. Akira Yuki, Stage 10, necessitates guarding and counter throws. Lion Rafal, Stage 5, benefits from interrupting strikes. Jackie Bryant, Stage 8, needs guarded counters. Dural, Stage 11, requires powerful single strikes. A section details Kagemaru's moves, providing button inputs and descriptions of techniques like Taida, Ende, Suen, and Buen, along with their tactical applications in different opponent scenarios. This Virtua Fighter 2 guide details strategies for fighting Jackie Bryant's CPU. The CPU Jackie is considered a difficult opponent, requiring a balanced approach. A key strategy is countering his somersault kick. Players can punish his quick backdashes with throws. The guide highlights Jackie's reliance on elbow spin kicks, somersault kicks, and knee strikes. It advises waiting for his attacks before countering, especially due to the unpredictability of his somersault kicks. To counter his somersault kick combos, guard, and then respond with similar kicks or knee kicks. Practicing higher-level combos is recommended. For the stage-certified ranking mode, the guide recommends exploiting high-difficulty techniques early on, particularly big swings and spinning kicks in stages 1 and 2. Pin kicks and lightning kicks are also effective. The later stages advise using backdashes and down attacks against specific opponents like Wolf and Lion, with throws recommended against Wolf. This guide provides stage-specific strategies for Virtua Fighter 2's CPU opponents. It covers stages 3 through 11, detailing tactics for Shun-Di, Pai-Chan, Lion Rafale, Kagemaru, Jeffrey McWild, Wolf Hawkfield, Akira Yuki, and the final boss, Dural. Strategies include using spinning arm kicks against Shun-Di, beat knuckles against Pai-Chan, and slant back knuckle and somersault kicks against Lion Rafale. Against Kagemaru, the guide recommends countering his elbow spin kicks with punches and elbow attacks. It further advises using evade punches against Jeffrey, punishing Jackie's patterns, throwing Wolf Hawkfield after avoiding his plane buster, and countering Akira's elbow spin kicks with your own. Against Dural, throws are prioritized. The guide also features a Jackie's Certified Moves section, listing and describing Jackie's key moves, including their types, throw, punch, kick, and button inputs. These moves are emphasized as crucial for success on higher difficulty levels. This guide focuses on defeating Wolf Hawkfield in Virtua Fighter 2. Wolf is a powerful CPU opponent, especially known for throws. To win, learn his patterns and exploit them. Utilize throws after evading his attacks, and practice drop kicks. The guide highlights countering Wolf's middle kick with a throw for significant damage. For ranking mode, prioritize throws, especially early on. Effective throws include reverse sledgehammer, shoulder attack, and auxiliary art. Key winning tips include guarding effectively, using drop kicks, and employing dash throws for quick victories. For mid-range combat, dragon screw attacks are recommended. The guide emphasizes adapting throw types based on the situation. This Virtua Fighter 2 CPU guide provides strategies for defeating opponents in stages 3 through 11. Against Shun, stage 3, maintain distance and use aerial attacks. Pai, stage 4, requires defensive play and counter throws. Lion, stage 5, is vulnerable to throws, especially low ones. Jeffrey, stage 6, requires a mix of throws, sonic blasts, and body blows. Cage, stage 7, is best fought with throws and the sleepless sledgehammer. Jackie, stage 8, needs guarded against before using throws and the SSD. Wolf, stage 9, calls for frontal roll kicks and throws. Akira, stage 10, is best defeated with throws. Dural, stage 11, should be fought defensively, using throws when openings arise. The guide concludes with a list of Wolf's standard throw moves and button inputs. This page dives deep into Virtua Fighter 2 strategies, specifically for tackling the formidable CPU Akira in ranking mode. The folks at AM2R&D are giving their insights, stating that CPU Akira is designed to be a tough opponent, focusing on defense and punishing predictable attacks. They emphasize that simply going in for mid-range attacks or relying on predictable patterns will often be guarded against, leading to counterattacks. The guide highlights the importance of understanding Akira's tendencies and using countermeasures. It points out that Akira is aggressive, utilizing throws and ring-out tactics effectively. To beat him, you need to be equally cunning, focusing on throws and predicting his moves. A key move highlighted is the Haugeki Unshin Sutora Sho, crushing impact cloud body twin tiger palm, suggesting it's particularly useful against projectile-heavy opponents like Sarah, shown in one of the screenshots. The page also mentions strategies for different stages, showing screenshots from matches against Lau and Sarah. The overall advice for defeating CPU Akira in ranking mode boils down to mastering command inputs, particularly the Haugeki Unshin Sutora Sho and Dappo Chuen Pi, solo summit elbow, and focusing on step-in throws to break his guard, especially when he's backed into a corner. Ring-outs are also presented as a viable and effective tactic. Essentially, it's all about using throws and ring-outs strategically to overcome Akira's strong defense. This guide provides strategies for stages 3 to 11 in Virtua Fighter 2's ranking mode. Against Shun, stage 3, be patient and counter low attacks. Pai, stage 4, requires throws and reversals. Lion, stage 5, necessitates baiting attacks and punishing openings. Jeffrey, stage 6, is about sidestepping throws and counterattacking. Cage, stage 7, demands quick reactions and throw counters. Jackie, Stage 8. Guard and counter his rush attacks. Wolf, Stage 9, needs a cautious approach with throw combos. Akira, Stage 10, requires distance, patience, and exploiting mistakes. Durrell, Stage 11, demands careful observation, standing kick cancels and throws. The guide also includes a section detailing Akira's command throw techniques, with button inputs and damage values. This page is a special report on Panzer Dragoon II Zwei, the upcoming sequel to the original Panzer Dragoon on Sega Saturn. It highlights that it's a 3D shooting game and emphasizes the 360-degree overwhelming panorama shooting, promising an immersive experience. A key feature they're showcasing is the dragon's growth, which is central to the game. The protagonist is described as a 14-year-old boy, and the story seems to be about the bond between him and his dragon as they face a world on the edge. The screenshots show various gameplay moments, including riding the dragon through diverse landscapes and engaging in combat. They mention that the dragon's appearance and attacks will evolve as it grows, impacting the gameplay and strategy throughout. It's a preview that's building excitement for the game's release, positioning it as a significant title for the Sega Saturn. This page delves deeper into Panzer Dragoon Zwei, highlighting the enhanced gameplay experience. It emphasizes the shift to ground combat, stating that while the original Panzer Dragoon was primarily aerial, Zwei introduces battles on land and against ground-based enemies. The 360-degree overwhelming panorama shooting is still a key feature, now expanded to include vertical movement and combat, with enemies attacking from above and below. The page showcases giant Imperial battleships as a formidable threat looming overhead, demonstrating the scale and intensity of the battles. The dragon's growth is again emphasized as a central mechanic, showing how both the dragon and the boy protagonist evolve together. Technically, the game boasts a significantly wider 3D view range, enhancing the immersive panoramic feel. There's also a direct interview with Panzer Dragoon developer Kentaro Kondo. He discusses the game's concept, aiming to create a deeper world than the first game, set in a distant future with ancient civilizations and ruins. He touches upon the gameplay mechanics, stating they've kept the core controls while refining them, and highlights the expanded ground-based stages, which offer a greater sense of scale and more varied gameplay. Kondo mentions improvements in graphics and processing power, leading to smoother dragon animations and an overall enhanced visual experience, aiming for 150% of the original game's quality. He believes Zwei will be enjoyable for both newcomers and fans of the original Panzer Dragoon. This page is all about SEGA Rally Championship, and it's nearly finished. It's touted as being 98% complete, and they are saying only 2% is left until it's fully done. They're really hyping it up as the historically highest level racing game, and it sounds like they are very excited. The article highlights that this version is packed with new features, like a replay mode and two-player battle mode. They've even revealed the secret Lancia Stratos car, which you'll be able to drive, alongside the Celica and Delta. They're calling this a new version and are emphasizing the improvements. One big area of focus is the car modeling. They've really worked on making the cars look more detailed and realistic, especially compared to the previous version, using the Celica as an example. The cars are apparently much more refined and closer to reality now. Another area they've beefed up is the option mode. It's got a much more comprehensive set of options now, allowing you to customize things like key assignments, select background music, adjust sound settings for stereo or monaural, and tweak BGM volume and sound speed. It sounds like you can really fine-tune the game to your liking with all these settings. The page includes screenshots showing off the gameplay, including the Lancia Stratos in action, and the detailed option menu. It definitely looks like they're aiming to deliver a polished and feature-rich racing experience. SEGA Rally Championship's replay mode is the focus, allowing players to relive their best runs from diverse perspectives. Key camera viewpoints include the driver's eye for speed and intensity, the machine rear for analyzing driving lines, and a cinematic camera viewpoint. Here, the replay feature enhances both championship and time attack modes. In Championship, replays become available after completing certain courses, aiding skill development. Time Attack benefits from replays by enabling players to study and refine their techniques, especially on challenging tracks like Lakeside, to improve their lap times. The article emphasizes using replays from various angles to push limits and achieve better scores within the time constraints. SEGA Rally Championship's two-player battle mode receives a major upgrade, adding features to enhance competitive play. Key additions include time lag, a time delay handicap for the faster player, delayed start, a head start option for the slower player, and slower car boost, which gives the trailing car a speed boost to encourage close races. These handicaps aim to balance races regardless of skill differences. Improved Ghost Mode settings now offer 6 customizable ghost car visibility patterns, enhancing the player experience. The upgrades are designed to make the two-player battles more engaging and enjoyable for all skill levels. This page features an interview about SEGA Rally Championship with Ryuichiro Nakamura from SEGA's CS Planning Design Production Department. The page starts with a special column titled Masaki Daisuke Talks About Stratos, where he discusses his thoughts on the Lancia Stratos within the game. The page also includes a screenshot of SEGA Rally Championship showcasing a race between a Lancia Delta and a Lancia Stratos. It mentions that this image is from the Saturn version's initial jacket artwork and highlights the impressive CG graphics used for both the cars and backgrounds, noting how realistic they appear. The main focus is the interview, where Nakamura reflects on the development process, expressing surprise at what they were able to achieve, and a sense of slight loneliness now that development is wrapping up. The interview delves into details like the game being around 98% complete at the time, the challenging aspects of tuning the cars, particularly the Stratos, and the implementation of features like ghost cars and the two-player mode. Nakamura mentions the improvements to the ghost mode and his thoughts on the two-player battles, especially the handicap options like time lag, delayed start, and slower car boost, which were discussed on the previous page, expressing satisfaction with the final product. The page ends with a teaser for the next issue, announcing that it will finally delve into strategy guides for the game. It also notes that the interview took place at SEGA on November 16th. This page announces the upcoming release of Dukyu Say If, a new adventure title from NEC Interchannel that's part of their Super Lineup series. This game, still early in development at 10% completion, is flagged as a special report and is geared towards an adult audience, being rated 18 and over for single players. It's mentioned that Dukyu Say If is based on the popular PC Engine game Dukyu Say, and is finally making its way to the SEGA Saturn. The game centers around a high school student's last summer vacation and aims to create memorable experiences. The Saturn version is highlighted as a significant upgrade from the PC Engine original, boasting enhanced graphics and improved gameplay, making it a title suitable for console standards. Players can expect to navigate relationships with approximately 17 different girls, offering a rich romantic adventure experience. This page continues the coverage of Dukyu Say If on the SEGA Saturn. It mentions that the game is being developed based on user feedback, aiming to improve upon the PC Engine version. The producer, Mr. Tabata, notes they aim to address user feedback significantly in the Saturn version. The game's premise revolves around what-if scenarios, branching from choices made by the player, which drastically changes the story. The page highlights the game's time progression system, where events unfold as time passes, making time management and location choice crucial. It also points out the 17 unique female characters, each with distinct personalities and hidden depths, emphasizing romantic encounters and deep conversations within the game's narrative. The text boxes around the images provide additional details. One box mentions a popular heroine, hinting at a potential rival character, while another talks about dog-walking adventures, leading to unexpected events. The screenshots showcase various scenes from the game, featuring different female characters in diverse locations, suggesting a rich and varied visual experience. Overall, the page emphasizes the enhanced features and deeper romantic experiences offered in Dukyu Say If on the SEGA Saturn. This page introduces the characters of Dukyu Say If, focusing on the female cast and some male supporting characters. It expands on the Dukyu Say If game. The page divides the women into categories: Senbu Academy students, Senbu Town and Yabuki Town residents, and Takuro's male friends. Senbu Academy girls include popular swimmer Mei Sakuragi, cheerful Mika Tanaka, mature Kirumi Ninomiya, and artistic Midori Takamori. The townspeople include teacher Yoshiko Iwasawa, school nurse Makoto Saito, part-time worker Haruka Sazama, and Hiromi Tamachi, who assists her family. Takuro's bad friends introduces male classmates Ichiro Sakaue and Taro Hazama, and the playboy Kenji Aihara. The page gives a diverse cast with varied personalities and backgrounds. The next page features Graduation, announcing its arrival on the Saturn as the ultimate version. It's mentioned that the original Graduation is making its way to the Saturn, aiming to be the definitive edition, building upon all previous versions. The page introduces the 5 main girls of Kyoka Girls High School, Class 3B. First up is Reiko Takashiro, voiced by Emi Motoi, described as a proper lady, good at academics. Next is Seimi Arai, voiced by Hiromitsuru, who may seem a bit rebellious but is actually lonely, and doesn't always attend classes. Mami Kato, voiced by Noriko Uemura, is portrayed as a sporty girl who loves physical activities and skiing, but isn't so good at studying. Mayu Shimura, voiced by Yukari Tamura, is a bit childish and popular with male students, known for being a bit clumsy but always cheerful. Finally, there's Shizuka Nakamoto, voiced by Ayako Kurosawa, a quiet intellectual type, engrossed in books and not interested in sports. The game is described as a graduation simulation, where you take on the role of a teacher at Kyoka Girls High School, guiding these 5 girls. The Saturn version is emphasized as a culmination of all previous iterations, boasting the best system, balance, and overall quality. This page is a special report from NEC Interchannel, highlighting their Super Lineup 3. It's showcasing Monster Maker, Holly Dagger, described as a 30% complete monster raising and battle simulation game for one player of all ages. The article mentions it's being developed using the PC Engine, and emphasizes its deep gameplay system, boasting elements like an advanced AI for enemy battles, monster combination, and multiple scenarios. There's a section focusing on character designs by Princess Kaguya, showing both original artwork and rendered CG versions of the characters. It mentions these designs are being brought to life in full CG for the game. At the bottom, it covers NEC Interchannel's new announcements at an event in Belfair. It seems NEC Interchannel is becoming more active in the Saturn market, mentioning a Creedrom software title system. They announced new titles at Belfair on November 22nd, including the game Keiruman, which is expected in autumn, alongside other unannounced projects planned for the Saturn. The article expresses anticipation for more Saturn titles from NEC Interchannel in the future. This page is a special report from NEC Interchannel continuing their Super Lineup series. This time it's Super Lineup 4. It focuses on the game Debut S, which is described as a training simulation where you take on the role of a manager for 3 aspiring idol singers, helping them reach the top. The 3 girls you'll be managing are Itoaki, Fujimura Saori, and Tanaka Kumi. Each girl is brought to life by voice actresses Tominaga Mina, Kasahara Hiroko, and Kanai Mika, respectively. You'll be in charge of their schedules and training, which includes lessons like aerobics, drama, singing, and dancing, alongside rest and outings. The article points out that the Saturn version is significantly enhanced compared to the PC and PC Engine versions, boasting a larger volume of content and new features, especially highlighting the new opening animation sequences created specifically for the Saturn. This page continues the Super Lineup 4 feature from NEC Interchannel, still focusing on Debut S. It highlights that the SEGA Saturn version is packed with original events. They're emphasizing that beyond the daily lessons, there are numerous events to enjoy in this version. The graphics have been beautifully redrawn to match the Saturn's capabilities, and there's a wealth of new content. They mention you'll encounter events like New Year's greetings and surprise occurrences, making for plenty of fun. Screenshots preview various in-game events, like filming a graduation RTV drama, getting caught by a surprise camera, going on a location scouting report, and doing local promotions. The page also teases scandalous and pleasant events happening when the idols are off work. It mentions surprises around Valentine's Day, and even dealing with injuries or illness. Plus, rival events will occur, where you'll encounter rival idols. Screenshots illustrate these moments, showing scenes like an idol with a sheep pondering about work, another with a gift on February 14th, one wanting to be a normal girl eating ice cream, and even a rival idol ending up in hospital after an incident. They emphasize that in Debut S, events aren't limited to just the 3 main idols. Sometimes you'll even encounter your good rivals in unexpected situations. The SEGA Saturn version of Debut S expands upon the original, with enhanced visuals and new content. Players can participate in additional activities beyond daily lessons, including appearing in TV and B-class commercials. The game features 3 main idols, Ito, Fujimura, Tanaka, and 7 rivals, hinting at a competitive environment. Character profiles are provided, detailing idols like Honda Mizuzu, Amano Yuri, Kinoshita Yuka, Ayase Rei, Suzukaze Rei, and Narisawa Mikan, each with a unique background and voiced by specific actors. Rival showdowns introduce mini-game events such as swimming races and idol duet battles. Monthly events like rooftop sales, surprise camera shoots, and CM filming are part of the experience. The Saturn version features 2 exclusive new songs and emphasizes that interactions with rivals heavily influence the game's narrative. This page is dedicated to the upcoming release of Street Fighter Alpha, known in Japan as Street Fighter Zero, for the SEGA Saturn. It's touted as a perfect arcade port, promising the same experience at home, with even some extras for Saturn owners. You can see screenshots of character selection and gameplay. The page also briefly mentions the Mega Drive versions of Street Fighter II Special Champion Edition and Super Street Fighter II, highlighting their features and showing some gameplay images. Interestingly, they also delve into the narrative of Street Fighter Alpha, focusing on Ryu's journey to become a true martial artist. Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter Zero in Japan, for Sega Saturn, features several key gameplay mechanics. The Zero counter allows for a defensive counterattack after blocking an attack, using the Super Combo gauge. Zero combos link normal attacks into special moves, requiring precise timing. Beginners can utilize automatic mode for simplified guarding and Super Combo execution, though with limited uses. Cancel lets players seamlessly transition from normal moves to special moves or super combos. Air Guard enables aerial defense against most attacks. The Super Combo system provides characters with multiple super combos across different levels, fueled by the Super Combo gauge. Finally, the Challenge, Taunt, is a purely psychological move, used once per round. The guide includes screenshots to visually explain these advanced techniques. This page is a character special move showcase for Street Fighter Alpha on the Sega Saturn. It highlights 4 popular fighters: Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, and Nash, known as Charlie in the EOS version. For Ryu, it details his signature moves like the Hadoken, Shoryuken, and Tatsumaki Senpukyaku, including aerial versions and super combo variations like the Shinku Hadoken and Shinku Tatsumaki Senpukyaku, emphasizing their power and usage in combos. Ken's section mirrors Ryu's, but introduces his unique Shinri Uken and Shoryu Reppa super combo, pointing out his aggressive American fighting style. Chun-Li's section focuses on her agile kicks like Hyakuretsu-kyaku and Tenshokyaku, showcasing her Kikoken projectile and super combos like Housen Kasenkyaku and Senretsu-kyaku, noting her mix-up potential and strategic air game. Finally, Nash, or Charlie, shows off his iconic Sonic Boom and Somersault Shell, along with super combos like Sonic Break, Crossfire Blitz, and Somersault Justice, highlighting his strategic zoning and anti-air capabilities. Each character section includes screenshots demonstrating these moves in action, making it a visual guide to their fighting styles in the game. The next page showcases more characters from the Zero World games, which we know internationally as Street Fighter Alpha. This time we are looking at Guy, Birdie, Rose, and Sodom. For Guy, it mentions his Bushin fighting style is honed for practical combat. His moves like the Bushin Izuna drop and Bushin Hurricane kick are highlighted as powerful and strategic options for close quarters fighting. His super combo, the Bushin Goraiha, is described as a devastating technique. Birdie is up next, known for his brutal and unorthodox fighting style, contrasting with traditional martial arts. His moves like the Bullhead and Bullhorn, as well as his chain-based attacks like the Murderer Chain, emphasize his aggressive and powerful nature. His super combo, Bull Revenger, is a beefed-up version of his Bullhorn, dealing significant damage. Rose is introduced as a fighter who senses a great power. She channels spiritual energy, using moves like Soul Reflect and Soul Spark, showcasing her mystical abilities. Her super combo, Aura Soul Spark, is a powerful aerial technique. Finally, there's Sodom, a Japanese character aiming to revive the Mad Gear Gang. His moves, like Jigoku Scraper and Daikyo Burning, and super combo, Mado no Miyage, highlight his powerful strikes with Jinit swords and earth-shattering attacks, solidifying his role as a strong and imposing character. The page details various moves and super combos for each character, offering a glimpse into their fighting styles within the game. This page previews characters from the Street Fighter Alpha, Zero series, specifically Adon and Sagat. Azadon, fueled by revenge against Sagat, utilizes a Muay Thai-based fighting style with moves like the Jaguar Kick and Revolver. Sagat, the former Muay Thai emperor, seeks to reclaim his honor, employing signature moves like the tiger shot and genocide. The article then speculates on the inclusion of Vega, Guki, and Dan, M. Bison, Akuma, and Dan Hibiki, hinting at their potential appearance. Capcom's Mr. Nagai announces the game's January 26th release, following X-Men, and expresses confidence in its appeal. A user review by Atsuko Suzuki praises the game as fan service Street Fighter, highlighting its fun factor, the accessibility of air guarding, and the satisfaction of executing special moves, despite acknowledging potential differences from Street Fighter II. This page, titled The Circle of Saturn and Users Voice Transport, features user feedback on the SEGA Saturn. Users discuss end-of-year bonuses, Christmas, and New Year's, with one hoping for lottery luck. Users share varied experiences. One questions the narrow world saying, another critiques naming styles after reading The Dancing Girl. Financial woes are expressed by a user who lost money at pachinko, while another humorously recounts a dream-related confusion about marriage. A user reminisces about playing pachinko. Other users comment on the generational gap in understanding tech jargon and an arcade experience playing Virtua Fighter 2. The page includes user-submitted illustrations. The collection reflects diverse thoughts and observations of SEGA Saturn users in Japan. The Kankan Gaku Gaku, First Anniversary Arbitrary Appreciation Ceremony 2, is a user-voted awards page for Saturn games. Sega Rally Championship wins the Saturn Star of Hope for its race game feel and graphics. The Saturn User is Crying award goes to Konami for disappointing the user base, particularly after a perceived deceptive marketing campaign. Sega Enterprises receives the Another Howling award for not delivering enough graphically advanced action games. Panzer Dragoon gets the second place Most Impressive award for its cinematic qualities. Users also share their experiences with games like Darkstalkers, Night Warriors, and Virtua Cop 2, with one desiring more competitive action titles. A user questions Sega's focus on peripherals, while another comments on soccer games. A final user, Y.US, from Osaka, expresses satisfaction and mentions the development of Virtua Cop 2. This page highlights user submissions and articles centered around the Sega Saturn. Users express admiration for movie-like games like Panzer Dragoon, and the Theme Request section solicits content suggestions for a Saturn magazine. Gunner's Alley Yo offers humorous user interactions. My Saturn features a user enjoying the Saturn's library, and Haga's Saturn Feather details a user's positive experience after purchasing the console. Fool Saturn humorously defines the console, and Saturn Raving Mad shares a heartwarming story of a purchase for a girlfriend. Last Words provides a brief, playful commentary. The page demonstrates a vibrant and diverse Saturn community. This Gallery of Saturn page showcases fan art and comments from Sega Saturn owners. The featured artwork includes a movie-like style by Toramaru, and Smile is Great Less Than 3 by Kato Koichi. Other pieces include Heavenly Riddle, Magic Vampire, Katalo, and Virtual On by Hirota Masaru. Further artworks are Beautiful Fingertips, Bye Bye Jupiter, and Karya. The page also features Troubled Chan, Scent of Incense, and Island Kachan. The page concludes with Saturn Theater, a section of gag manga by artists like Iron Shoe and River Kawasaki Yusuke. The page demonstrates the Sega Saturn community's creativity and enthusiastic involvement. This page is packed with reader contributions and fun segments. It kicks off with Nice Pose Please, showing off funny in-game moments, including one titled Astral Projection and another hilariously named Vaulting Horse Ultra E from a horse racing game. Then there's Daba Daba Uncle, a reader's humorous story about a game-ignorant couple who suddenly became obsessed with buying a Saturn after overhearing a kid saying, 10 years early! The A Word from Earthlings section compiles short reader comments, like someone enjoying playing on their commute or mentioning they bought a Saturn recently, but the battery is already dead. In My Saturn, a reader describes their Saturn as ordinary, but expresses their enjoyment of creating original remixes and writing lyrics for games. Wooden Game Man seems to be another reader submission section, possibly featuring funny stories. The Information section has various segments, including a call for submissions for Unstable Wife and Reserves, and Saturn's Ring, which are themed reader contribution areas. Nice Pose Please? And Saturn Senryu also seem to be open for reader submissions. There's also Kabuki Tales, another submission category. The Saturn Star Picture Gallery is looking for Saturn software illustrations drawn in black pen on postcards. Finally, Submissions to Voyagers explains how readers can send in their voice messages and other contributions for a chance to win 500 yen and a free copy of a Saturn or Mega Drive game released by the end of December 1995. The page ends with the magazine's address for submissions. The article explores the technical aspects of game consoles, focusing on microprocessors and dedicated hardware, and challenging the obsession with bits. It traces the evolution from 8-bit to 16-bit systems like the Sega Mega Drive, emphasizing that a console's performance isn't solely determined by its microprocessor's bit size or MIPS. Dedicated hardware, such as image processing chips, plays a crucial role. The piece then discusses RISC processors, including Hitachi's Super F, used in the Sega Saturn, and MIPS series, used in the PlayStation and Nintendo 64. It contrasts these with CPUs from other consoles, like the Super Famicom, SNES, and PC Engine, demonstrating that raw CPU power is not the sole determinant of a console's capabilities. The article concludes by advocating for a balanced system design, where the integration of various components, not just the CPU, is the key to overall performance. This article examines the 64-bit architecture debate, focusing on the Nintendo 64 and PowerPC processors. It argues that 64-bit doesn't inherently guarantee superiority. The Nintendo 64's MIPS processor and impressive specs are noted, but the article emphasizes that memory bandwidth and efficient data utilization are crucial for performance. A Q&A section addresses why characters in Virtua Fighter Remix appear flat, despite being 3D polygons, attributing it to lighting and texture limitations common in early 3D games. Finally, a MIPS comparison chart highlights the raw processing power of the PowerPC 602 and R4300i, yet underscores that MIPS alone doesn't determine overall gaming performance. This page is a strategy guide focused on a challenging map in a World War II strategy game, specifically the Smolensk strategy for the German side. The scenario is set during Operation Barbarossa, and the main challenge is dealing with the Tunjung of powerful Soviet T-34 tanks. The guide advises players to weaken 34s with artillery and airstrikes before engaging them with tanks directly, warning against tank-on-tank fights with equal numbers. It highlights key Soviet units like the T-34, KV-1, 152mm howitzer, and Lag-3 fighter, providing stats for each. Victory conditions are outlined, with a great victory achieved by destroying all enemy command headquarters within 15 turns. The page includes a small map of the Smolensk region and unit data tables, although we are skipping those for now. The reviewer Kiyohide Inuno mentions playing a WA Great strategy game, suggesting this guide is for a title within that series. This page continues the strategy guide for WA Great Strategy with secret information to enhance gameplay tenfold. The page details 3 combat anime tips. Firstly, the fast mode allows players to speed up battle animations by accessing the system settings and changing combat anime to fast. Secondly, there's a way to encounter unidentified flying objects in battle. To see them, players must ensure only one friendly unit remains, with 33% or less health remaining. The UFO will then appear, although camera angles may sometimes obscure it. Lastly, the camera angle freedom trick allows for manual camera control during battle animations. By connecting a 2P controller and repeatedly pressing the button on the 2P pad after the battle animation starts, players can freely adjust the camera angle, even in snowy or night battles. The page also includes a section on super weapons and unfinished weapon arsenal dictionary, focusing on the Horten Ho 229 jet fighter. It describes it as a German Luftwaffe aircraft designed by the Horten brothers, emphasizing its design focused on reducing air resistance, and its first flight in 1944 with impressive speed and range figures. It mentions only 3 were produced before the war's end. Finally, in the My Cry section, a player asks for advice on using air-to-ship tactics in naval battles, finding land maps easier. The response advises using bombers effectively against ships and aircraft, suggesting a defense strategy of encircling friendly units and aggressively eliminating enemy units. This webpage features 3 distinct sections. The first is an article by Yamato Sawamura of Blow, expressing his lifelong passion for video games and his ambition to create memorable RPGs. He recalls childhood experiences playing games like Series Yamada and Panda, which fueled his desire to develop games in a unique, pretty Yamato style. Next is Dob's Favorite by Kenny Shigetu of the Dob Creator Group. He's a game producer involved in character design and multimedia art for SEGA Saturn and Crudrom games. Finally, the page reviews racing controllers. The author highlights the dramatic improvement in control and immersion when using a racing controller versus a standard gamepad. They advocate for the use of racing controllers in racing games, emphasizing that game reviewers should consider the input method when evaluating the titles. This page, titled Ikebukuro Sera's Bachakra Crash, Volume .8, reports on a local Virtua Fighter 2.1 tournament called the Gamble Panther Memorial Mixed Doubles Tournament. It took place at an amusement facility near Ikebukuro Station and featured players like Shinjuku Jackie and Ikebukuro Sera. The article describes the event atmosphere, mentioning the enthusiasm of the participants and spectators. They highlight the tournament structure, the different teams competing, including one called Purun Purun Maru, and the intense matches in Virtua Fighter 2.1. Marilyn Jackie appears to have been a standout player, possibly the champion, as his photo is included there. The report touches upon the excitement of using characters like Marilyn Jackie and the strategies employed in the matches. Finally, at the bottom of the page, there are some comical cartoon strips, which seem to be related to gaming and general humor. Overall, the page is a lively report about a community-level Virtua Fighter 2.1 tournament, capturing the energy and personalities involved. The SEGA Saturn religion announced its first followers, selecting individuals for humorous reasons tied to their SEGA Saturn enthusiasm. These included people good at drawing, sending photos, or discussing Virtua Karateka. A Warp Earth investigation team report details developer diary entries, mentioning games like Shining the Holy Ark. The Saturn Religion HQ then called for more believers, asking for photos of Saturn consoles. Successful applicants will receive a Warp Special Membership card. They also announced Virtua Karateka's development was still underway. The page concludes with game reviews. Shining the Holy Ark received high praise, earning a perfect score. No Shokutaku Director's Cut was also reviewed, mentioning potential delays due to the director's involvement, issues with sound, and the removal of resigned team members' names. This page features an interview with Tanaka Ryoichi, the character designer for the Super Real Mahjong series. He discusses how his art style has changed over time, and mentions that playing games in arcades helped him understand player reactions and refine his art. He notes that the P2I entry in the Super Real Mahjong series was a turning point for his artistic direction. Tanaka talks about the impact of P2I, mentioning how it was different from previous games and set the stage for his current style. The interview also touches on CG animation, with Tanaka expressing a desire to push its boundaries further in anime, much like how WAT 2 pushed boundaries in its time. He reflects on the challenges programmers faced, especially with animation in PV, and aims to create even more impressive visuals. A section called Fan is a Must-See provides behind-the-scenes tidbits, revealing details like early plans for Pop 2 involving fully nude characters which were toned down, and anecdotes about fan reactions to the chest sizes of characters in PIV. It also mentions development challenges with PV and the transition to polygon characters, which Tanaka initially resisted but now sees as a positive change. The page also notes that Super Real Mahjong Graffiti is currently on sale. Capcom is holding an event at Toshimaen Amusement Park from November 23-25 to celebrate the Saturn's launch anniversary, featuring arcade hits playable on Saturn consoles. Games include Street Fighter Alpha, Vampire Hunter, Darkstalkers, and X-Men, with Vampire Hunter's high-quality port as a key attraction. X-Men's tournament is also highlighted. The event includes a Capcom selection showcasing Street Fighter Zero Complete Data File, Marvel Superheroes, praised for its arcade-perfect conversion, and Rockman, The Power Battle, Mega Man, The Power Battle for the Saturns. A section titled Try Arcade Next Consumer focuses on bringing arcade experiences home, particularly emphasizing Marvel Superheroes and Jinbutsu Shinpan 2. Finally, a Hello! Capcom Reader Submissions section solicits fan art and messages about cyberbots and mecha fighting games, offering prizes for selected submissions and hinting at a future Navigator character. Several SEGA Saturn game publishers shared Christmas messages. Acclaim Japan hyped Mortal Kombat. Virgin Interactive mentioned Black Fire and Chaos Control. Imagine wished Happy Holidays and teased Devil Crisis. Game Studio focused on music and artistic concepts. Kurio celebrated a horse race win in Dream Cup. Konami discussed parties and Chibi Maruko-chan. Sammy Industry revealed Pachinko Hyper-Reaction titles. Sunsoft promised info on Galaxy Force 2. Soft Vision highlighted Pippin and Gangan. Hudson hinted at Saturn games like Bomberman. Patra mentioned Roadrunner Legend Returns Beta. Micronix anticipated Pure Angel 3 and Majoko. Messiah spoke of Dreams and Heaven's Gate. Yaman introduced Daily Fireworks and Feathered Remake. Quote, Amedia anticipated the new year. The Atosaki section encouraged reader postcards. This page is a retail advert from a shop called Santa, advertising Sega Saturn, Mega Drive, and Gear games and hardware. It's shouting about consumption tax unnecessary, meaning tax is included in the listed prices. They have a big New Works Corner section listing. Recently released Saturn games like Virtua Fighter Remix, Panzer Dragoon, Tomb Raider, and Street Fighter Zero-2, alongside other titles like Christmas Nights, and intriguing games such as Gotha and North Sea Battle. There are also sections for Mega CD2, Wonder Mega 2, backup RAM cartridges, and a large selection of Mega Drive software, including classics like Sonic, the Hedgehog, and Streets of Rage. They also list Game Gear hardware and peripherals, and various Mega Drive and Game Gear accessories like controllers and cables, along with sound-related accessories for the Mega Drive. Overall, it's a typical game shop advert, showcasing a wide range of Sega products available for purchase. Tokyo Game Designer Academy is advertising its game development training courses. They offer 1, 2, and 3-year game designer courses covering design fundamentals to advanced techniques. Additional courses include Game Artist, Game Planning/Scenario Writer, Sound Creator, and Mac Multimedia Video Creator. Correspondence courses are available for Game Design and Sound Creator, catering to both beginners and experienced individuals, with specialized programming courses. The Academy highlights monthly lectures for game planning/scenario creation and game creator courses, focused on hands-on game creation with guidance from industry professionals. Promotions include a school tour, a graduate success story, and applications for January enrollment, offering full-time and single-subject courses across various schedules. This page showcases a variety of game-related merchandise and new game releases. At the top, it lists apparel like trainers, jackets, and caps featuring Sonic and Virtua Fighter characters, along with prices. The page highlights hot new game info featuring 2 games. Gunbird, described as a popular arcade port with cute characters and shooting action, and Marriage, a school-themed simulation game with appealing female characters. Both games are scheduled for release on December 15th. And have discounted pre-order prices. This month's Big Four presents 4 highly anticipated titles: Cootie Athletics, True Goddess Reincarnation, Devil Summoner, Darius Gaiden, and Theme Park, all priced at 6,120 yen. The page also lists new release information for various games across different dates in December. Titles mentioned include X-Men, Ranma 1/2 Ogi Janken, NBA Jam Tournament Edition, Hattori Trick Heroes S, Chibi Maruko-chan no Taisen Pazudama, Deep Dead Heat, DX Jinsei Game, Hipari Golf Doubles Course, Great Sea Battle, Clockwork Knight Pepperucho's Fortune, Virtua Racing Saturn, Suku Nyantacle, Mobile Suit Gundam, and Lunar Sanbo Gakuen. Prices are listed for each game. A section is dedicated to Super 32X and Mega Drive games, with titles like Space Harrier, Doom, 36 Great Holes, Tempo, Metalhead, Mortal Kombat, 2 Ultimate Fighting, Fahrenheit, Bebe's Kids, Pemgo, Surgical Strike, Taunt R, and Phantasy Star IV, all listed with prices. Finally, there is a parts section listing various accessories such as control pads, joysticks, cables, and memory cards, with their respective prices, catering to Sega Saturn gamers. Sega Saturn fans have several exciting merchandise releases to look forward to. Alice Soft is releasing 2 art collections. Mugen Hoei, featuring CG art and character details, priced at 2,300 yen, and Toshindoshi 2, with development materials and a pinup, for 2,500 yen. For Super Real Mahjong fans, there's the Super Real Mahjong PV Original Art and Setting Material Collection, 2,000 yen, a Super Real Mahjong P2 and P2i fanbook, and the Super Real Mahjong PIV Original Art and Setting Material Collection, both also 2,000 yen each. Idol Janshi Suchiapai Original Art and Setting Material Collection, 1,900 yen, includes art by Kenichi Sonoda and interviews. Finally, the Lunar Eye and 2 Official Setting Material Collection, 2,800 yen, offers character designs, world setting illustrations, and information about both Lunar, the Silver Star, and Lunar Eternal Blue. This page is an advertisement promoting a height increase method called Shincho-ho, claiming it's based on the amazing effects of yoga and modern science. The ad dramatically illustrates the height difference between two individuals, one at 168 centimeters and the other impressively taller at 185 centimeters, stating this is the difference in our height extension methods. The graph shows the height progress of two individuals, Sawada-kun and Ogoshi-kun, over 6 months using the method. The advertisement boasts about achieving the target height of 185 centimeters for a 19-year-old member named Sawada Akira. It includes testimonials from satisfied users praising the program's effectiveness and natural approach to height increase. The text emphasizes that height is determined from the feet up and highlights the role of Dharana in growth. The advertisement ends with a call to action, encouraging readers to send in an enclosed postcard via Raku Post for free information materials, promising a chance for dramatic height increase and free express delivery of the materials from Nihon Health Academy. It assures potential customers that the secret to height increase is finally revealed and available everywhere. This page highlights manga anthologies and CD books based on popular video games. It features a comic anthology for Super Real Mahjong PV Paradise All-Stars 4-player, showcasing original stories and art. Another anthology, Kakan Senshiden, focuses on the character Ellis from the fighting game Hyper Reaction Combat Team Kakan Senshiden, with contributions from various artists and a perfect guide advertised. Additionally, there are SoftBank CD book releases. Langrisser 2 gets a memorial drama CD and fan book set exploring the series' history, featuring voice actors like Hikaru Midorikawa. Similarly, a Phantasy Star CD book based on Phantasy Star IV includes an original drama with characters like Nei, with voice actors like Sanae Miyuki. Finally, an advertisement for the Phantasy Star Official Setting Material Collection is included, offering unreleased materials from the entire series. This page is a schedule of new software releases for the SEGA Saturn. It's neatly organized by release month, starting from December and going through to spring. For December, there's a bunch of games listed, including multiple entries in the Virtua Fighter CG Portrait series, a game called Bug, Fairy Christmas, Hat Trick Hero S, and some puzzle and action titles like Daydreamy Thoughts and Clockwork Knight. There are also strategy and simulation titles like Gunbird and Ocean Battle. Moving into January, we see titles like Pro Mahjong Gokumi Is, Yarudora Volume 2 Doublecast, and a few adventure games like The Tower and Zork I. February highlights include Virtua Fighter CG Portrait Series, Cool Girl, puzzle games like Gugyanma O, action games like The Gen War and Aaron in the Dark 2, and even some simulation titles. March has a focus on role-playing games with titles like Albert Odyssey, Legend of Eldine, and Dragon Force, alongside action games like Vampire Hunter and Slam Dragon. April mentions Aqua Zone for Sega Saturn, and a few simulation and etc. genre games. Finally, for spring, there are titles like Sakura Wars, Thor, and Panzer Dragoon Zwei listed, alongside puzzle and adventure games. It looks like a packed few months for Sega Saturn gamers, with a variety of genres covered, from action and RPG to puzzle and simulation. This document details software release schedules, focusing on the years 1996 and 1997. Spring sees titles like Snatcher and Tokimeki Memorial Forever With You, while autumn offers Ragnarok Stage in 95. 96 includes Success Story and Cotton 2 with Guardian Force in 97. A list of unreleased titles including action, RPG, and simulation games like Fighting Vipers and FIFA Soccer 96 across multiple platforms is mentioned. Upcoming Mega Drive titles like Bebe, Pepe, Pengu, and Surgical Strike are scheduled. Game Gear releases include Godzilla Generations Destroy All Monsters, Super Momotaro Dentetsu 2, and Lunar Sanbika no Gakuen. A title change check section confirms name revisions for several games, including Gun Griffon, The Eurasian Conflict, and Bomberman Saturn. This page is a questionnaire postcard for readers to fill out and send back to the magazine. It's asking for typical demographic information like gender, age, school, or occupation, and also specifically about their SEGA Saturn ownership and reading habits of computer game magazines. Readers are asked about their opinions on the current magazine issue, what SEGA Saturn software they plan to purchase, and what content they found interesting or boring in the magazine. They are also prompted to list up to 8 SEGA Saturn hardware items they own or plan to buy, and to name 10 software titles they are interested in buying. There are lists of hardware choices including various consoles like SEGA Saturn, PlayStation, Nintendo 64, and even less common ones like PCFX and 3DO. Software titles listed are extensive and cover a wide range of genres. Some recognizable games from the software list include Aquazone for SEGA Saturn, Arena, Guardian Heroes, Fighters Megamix, FIFA Soccer 96, Panzer Dragoon, Virtua Fighter 2, Daytona USA, SEGA Rally Championship, and Virtua Cop. The questionnaire also has a section listing articles featured in this issue of the magazine, covering various games and topics. This page from SEGA Saturn Press magazine is all about new and upcoming game releases. It kicks off with a bold header saying, New Release Title, listing recently released games like Gulliver Boy, Virtua Photo Studio, The Gen War, Return to Zork, Blackfire, RoboPit, and NBA Jam Tournament Edition, alongside some Japanese titles including a couple of Mahjong games and even a horoscope program. The second section is titled, Coming Soon Soft, and teases a bunch of exciting games on the horizon. This section includes titles like Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, Guardian Heroes, Dark Savior, Vampire Hunter, Mobile Suit Gundam, Virtua Racing, Darius Gaiden, and Theme Park, alongside other titles, showing a wide variety of genres, from RPGs and fighting games to simulations and action titles expected for the SEGA Saturn. The page also features a prominent image of Pei-chan, likely referencing the Virtua Fighter series. This page showcases 3 new games. First up is Gulliver Boy, a role-playing game based on the anime. It's described as a grand adventure, where science and magic meet in a Mediterranean setting. Apparently, it was well received on PC Engine, and is now coming to Saturn. The game is a field-type RPG, where you encounter monsters and battle them. It emphasizes a trading system to earn money and visual events to enhance the story. Next we have Virtua Photo Studio, a camera simulation game. You take on the role of a cameraman, choosing models, setting up shots, and editing photos. It sounds like a unique experience, where you can enjoy being a top cameraman, and even have bonus modes for extra fun. Finally, there's The Gen War, a 3D action game. It's set in space, and is about fighting against the Gen aliens who are trying to control humanity's minds. You play as the crew of the spaceship Da Vinci, battling through 20 stages of 3D action. The article mentions impressive movie scenes are included. All 3 games are rated 50% completion in the article. This page features a trio of exciting new games. First off, we have Return to Zork. This is an adventure game, based on the classic Zork series, coming to Saturn from PC. It seems to be keeping the mystery and puzzle elements that made the original games popular, but set in a world 700 years later. The reviewer is intrigued by the details in the character designs, and it's sitting at an 80% completion score. Next up is Blackfire, a high-speed flight simulator. It's all about intense dogfights against terrorists in the sky. You'll progress through 12 missions, unlocking new weapons as you go, and there's a training mode to sharpen your skills. It sounds like a proper flight sim that really benefits from using the Saturn's analog stick. The reviewer mentions the battles are packed with enemies, and it scored a perfect 100%. Lastly, there's RoboPit, a unique action game where you build and battle your own robots. You can customize your robot using 4 different part types, equipping them with different arms and abilities. As you fight and gain experience, your robot gets stronger. The reviewer points out the strategic element of switching viewpoints during battles, and the game is currently at a solid 95% completion. This page showcases 3 upcoming titles. First up is Kururin Pa, a puzzle game where you strategically place falling blocks. It's described as a budget-friendly option and features cute, snowman-like characters called Ojama. The Saturn version will have 8 playable characters and the option to play against the computer. The reviewer seems to think it's a solid battle puzzle game, rating it a 70% completion. Next we have Mahjong Hyper-Reaction, a mahjong game focusing on the reactions of 3 female characters. It seems the game will feature undressing scenes based on the score difference, with over 30 anime scenes in total. Apparently, the arcade version had some interesting endings, and the Saturn version might follow suit. The reviewer seems lukewarm, with a 50% completion score, mentioning it's something they'd more likely play in an arcade. Finally, there's Shichu Suime Pitograph, which is fortune-telling software. It uses a vast database of over 5,000 entertainers and athletes, drawing on more than 10 reference books. You can analyze compatibility between people, including celebrities, and even perform group fortune-telling. The reviewer gives this one a strong 80% completion score, highlighting its features like astrology and personality diagnosis for predicting your fortune. This page highlights a couple of really interesting games and a section for new game scoops. First up is Hisatsu Pachinko Collection, a pachinko game compilation for Saturn, getting a fantastic 95% score. It seems to recreate the pachinko parlor experience at home, letting you enjoy not just regular pachinko but also time attack modes, network play, and even full-fledged mahjong. The reviewer sounds really impressed, mentioning it captures the real pachinko experience. Next is NBA Jam Tournament Edition, which absolutely blew the reviewer away with a perfect 100% score. They call it exhilarating 2-on-2 basketball, emphasizing the speed, acrobatic moves, and easy controls. It sounds like anyone can pick it up and start pulling off insane dunks, thanks to the turbo button and simplified commands. The screenshots show classic NBA Jam action and the player selection screen. Finally, there's a section called New Game Scoop, with snippets of info on upcoming titles. One game looks like a sci-fi shooter from Tecmo, described as having a unique feel with puzzles and multiplayer, offering a system where damage changes the viewpoint. The other one is a puzzle game set on Earth in 3Ds, called Titan Wars, from BGM Victor, drawing comparisons to Metal Black, and described as a puzzle-type shooting game with 2-player mode and scrolling stages. It seems they are highlighting a mix of genres coming to the Saturn soon. This page dives into Devil Summoners, showcasing a preview of the scenario and a detailed look at its gameplay systems. It kicks off by highlighting the scenario introduction, explaining that this Saturn Original Mega 10 title is approaching its release date. They're finally revealing the game's opening scenario, something they've kept under wraps until now. It seems players will get a glimpse of the story flow from the game's start, including interactions between characters and the overall narrative progression. The page then shifts to system review, focusing on 2 key aspects: battle and conversation. In battles, it emphasizes the strategic depth, highlighting how enemy formations and positioning matter more than before. Players can level up characters and customize their parameters, offering a great deal of tactical freedom. The screenshots illustrate the battle interface and the level-up system. For conversation, it mentions that demons are not just enemies, but can become allies through dialogue. This dialogue system seems to be crucial, and the stance system adds realism to conversations and character interactions, influencing how dialogues unfold. Screenshots show examples of conversation scenes and the stance indicators. The overall message is that Devil Summoner is adding depth and complexity to both combat and character interactions, making for a more engaging experience. This page continues the Devil Summoner preview, diving into more gameplay systems. It showcases features like the in-game computer, which helps manage your demon allies and party. It also seems to handle auto-mapping, which is great for those who find 3D dungeons tricky. Next up is Creation, or A, which is about creating new demons. It mentions the ability to make entirely new demons, pushing the Mega 10 series demon creation to a new level. It emphasizes the depth and possibilities this system offers. Then there's Demon Fusion, or A, explaining that you can fuse multiple demons to create even stronger ones. This time, fusion happens in dedicated facilities, making it more convenient than previous titles, where it was done in churches. It's described as more user-friendly and feature-rich. Finally, it introduces DDS-Net, which sounds like an in-game network system. Players can access DDS-Net to register as members and update their information, including their name and location in city, which seems to be the default city name but changeable. It looks like this system lets you input details like your profession and desired role in the game, hinting at potential online or social features within the game world. This page is a preview focusing on the story and locations in Devil Summoners. It starts at the protagonist's house, where he receives a call from his girlfriend, Hisako Tainu. They decide to meet at the Afro coffee shop in Kouyuan Park. The coffee shop is described as a small, red-roofed building in the park. While waiting for Hisako, The protagonist watches sports news on TV. Hisako arrives and mentions she wants to visit the library, also located in Kouyuan Park. At the library, they are searching for old Japanese magic books based on Hisako's professor's request. They are shown exploring the library, but haven't found the book yet. After the library, Hisako suggests going to Kitayama University, because she has some business there. They go to the university, entering through the back gate as the main gate might be closed. However, they are still unable to find the book. Their next location is the Tento building in the shopping district, which was a pre-arranged meeting spot for today's date. But when they arrive, the building is deserted. Upon entering, they are transported to a strange place, encountering demons. This building is revealed to be a hideout for a devil summoner. They face danger and must escape from this location, which is full of demons and hostile devil summoners. The page highlights the devil summoner's antagonist and their ability to use magic and summon demons, showing command cards like magic and summon in the battle interface. This page continues the preview of Devil Summoner and introduces Yarai Ginza as the main location. It seems to be an arcade district, where the protagonist explores after the events at the Tento building. The page highlights the variety of shops within the arcade, mentioning pharmacies, real estate agents, boxing gyms, and other unique establishments with very individualistic shopkeepers. The page features a map of the arcade, showing entrances and shops with a key explaining the colors. It also describes the area surrounding the arcade, noting that it's connected to TV and Chinatown districts, both popular spots. The TV station area is depicted as heavily guarded. The coffee shop section links back to the previous page, mentioning the master of the coffee shop and Kumiko, suggesting the protagonist will receive messages from Kumiko there. The construction site section introduces a suspicious man at a construction site, hinting at further mysteries and dangers for the protagonist to face in Devil Summoner. It seems the protagonist will encounter trouble and be in a pinch, possibly related to this mysterious man. This page is all about the upcoming SEGA Saturn game Guardian Heroes, showcased as a coming soon soft title. The article is focused on the battle mode, which is nearing completion, with the game at 90% finished according to the magazine. The reviewer is clearly impressed, highlighting the quality of the game and the depth of the character roster, mentioning that there will be a total of 45 playable characters, with 25 of them being introduced in this preview. The page specifically features Serena Colsey, showing off some of her moves with screenshots and command inputs. These moves include Sonic Boom, Surprise Roll, Moon Slider, Somersault Kick, Justice Blade, and Surprise Kick. The article also gives examples of other moves like Counter Nemesis, Kayako Fang, Phoenix Arrow, Valkyrie Javelin, Toa Hammer, and Angel Press, presumably for other characters, showcasing the variety of combat options. Is a table that seems to display character selection data, showing stats like level, HP, and MP, hinting at the depth of the game's mechanics. The article emphasizes the 6-player battle mode and the sheer number of playable characters available. This page continues the preview of the upcoming SEGA Saturn game Guardian Heroes, still under the Coming Soon Soft banner. It dives deeper into character movesets, highlighting 3 more playable characters after Serena Colsey from the previous page. First up is Randy M. Green, showcasing his rod-based fighting style with moves like Air Dance Whirlwind Rod and Defense Wall Whirlwind Rod, which involves spinning his rod for offense and defense. There's also the Stumble Rod and Skull 3-link path for close combat, and powerful magic moves like Super Magic Fireball, Super Magic Firewall, Magic Thunderbolt, Super Magic Ice Field, Super Magic Tornado, and Super Magic Fire Blaster, which show off the game's magical combat depth. Next is Edward M. Cognac, described in story mode as a supporting character who can be controlled in versus battles. His moves include a basic stop and kick and a special Emax move, emphasizing his unique combat style. Finally, Ipin Ginshiro is featured with his ninja-like abilities. His moves are detailed, including Phantom Breaking Sword and Vacuum Body Top for close combat, Silent Shadow Escape for evasion, Thunder Palm for electric attacks, Phantom Sky Dance for aerial maneuvers, Thunder Swiftness for speed, Fire Escape for fire-based techniques, and Thunder Change for elemental transformations. The page provides button inputs and screenshots for each move, giving players a good sense of the character's fighting style and the game's overall combat mechanics, really showcasing the variety and depth promised with the large roster of playable characters. This preview showcases 3 characters from Guardian Heroes: Han Samuel, Nicole Neal, and Goldetsu. Han Samuel is a beginner-friendly, well-rounded character with special and aerial attacks, culminating in powerful dynamite, final, maximum, and burnings moves. Nicole Neal, a unique fighter, utilizes spinning attacks, Itai no projectiles, Furai Iyaa, a powerful aerial attack, Suriri Sugotuf, and a healing magic, Biringu. Oldetsu, the muscle-bound bandit, is all about brute force, with ground pounds, suspicious fresh coal, ground-based attacks, suspicious muscle earthshaker, diving attacks, suspicious muscle bomber, and shockwave attacks, suspicious muscle rebound voice. The preview highlights the game's diverse roster and varied movesets. The next page continues the preview of Guardian Heroes and introduces more characters. It showcases Sanbo Shinakuma, described as a balanced character suited for beginners, boasting powerful back muscle attacks. The page details some of his moves like Seiji Zuki, Justice Thrust, Hachak Hurimawashi, Flurry Spin, Hanju Gomenasai, Prosperity, and Sanbo Bakudan, Sanbo Bomb. Next up is Otoko Iwao, a character who uses projectiles and area attacks, with moves like Dangeki Dan, Impact Bullet, and Kibaku no Michi, Path of Explosion. Then there's Otoko Jiro, focusing on charging attacks like Seiunshu, Soaring Cloud Charge, and Seiunshu Ha, Soaring Cloud Charge Wave. The page then moves on to Undead Hero, highlighting his strong armor and various zombie techniques, including Ratori Buremu, Ratori Flame. Following this is Flying Destackle, who uses jump attacks from the air, and Killing Buster, who has strong sword attacks with a wide range. Next is Kingdom Knight, a basic character with solid fundamental skills, and Rolling Victory Final, specializing in spinning attacks and multiple hits. Here is Zulbire, described as not relying on basic techniques and having two types of special moves. Finally, the page features Kingdom Magic Soldier, a heavy armored character with metal sounds featuring projectiles, and Omega Female Child, who fires lasers from her forehead, though aiming can be tricky. Overall, the page continues to highlight the diverse cast of characters in Guardian Heroes and their unique fighting styles and moves, emphasizing the variety and depth of the game's combat system. This page continues the Guardian Heroes preview, showcasing various enemy characters and even some townsfolk you'll encounter. It begins with enemy types like the Kingdom Magic Soldier, described as slow but powerful, with strong magic attacks. Then there's the Kingdom Soldier, a common enemy, and the Skeleton, noted for its resurrection ability and similar stats to other enemies. Zombies are slow and numerous, best fought in groups. Resistance enemies are tough and fight alongside Kingdom Soldiers. Moving on. The page details Droid Fighter, a magic soldier variant with enhanced abilities. Ice Stopper 210 is another enemy capable of creating ice walls. Goblin and wolf enemies are also shown, described as common creatures found in forests. Kingdom Heavy Infantry is introduced as heavily armored soldiers working in teams. Interestingly, the page then shifts focus to townsfolk you'll meet, categorizing them into types like female citizen, child citizen, weak citizen, old citizen, and fat citizen, giving brief descriptions of each. Finally, there's a humorous comic strip section, where characters discuss the game's scenario mode and the role of townsfolk, emphasizing the game's fun and action-packed gameplay. Ears Adventurer, a SEGA Saturn RPG, is 40% complete. The game introduces new characters designed by Mamoru Nagano. Key characters include Pack Siri, a mischievous fairy boy, Muffin Siri, a kind younger brother, and Kettle Siri, a mature, older sister figure. The protagonist, Henry, seems to struggle with Kettle's age group. The game's world is split into Sky High World, a fairy realm, and Historical World, the human world, separated by walls. Sky High World features fairy villages within forests, while Historical World has human settlements. A key element is Master Light Sail, a dragon god sealed in Sky High World, who may play a significant role in the story. This page focuses on the Sega Saturn game Dark Savior, an action RPG still in development and at 40% completion. The game boasts 3D environments and action, promising a fresh experience. The story begins on the Gliabissi ship, where a dangerous creature named Bic Ran has escaped. You'll play as the protagonist, Rayer, in pursuit. Koyuki, a female ninja from the country of Lapian, also appears on the ship, raising questions about her role. The screenshots showcase the game's 3D isometric perspective, emphasizing action gameplay like swinging swords and interacting with the environment, including stacking boxes for puzzles. There's an interview with Climax president Hiroshi Naito, who mentions the game's progress, including combat, events, and monster design. He highlights the 200 monster variations and the detailed 3D diorama world they are creating for players to fully explore and enjoy, with interactive elements. He also touches on the camera perspective and the balance between player control and cinematic views, aiming for a comfortable and immersive 3D experience. The Coming Soon Soft page previews the SEGA Saturn version of Vampire Hunter Darkstalker's Revenge, currently 58% complete. The reviewer, excited by the arcade version, anticipates an excellent port, highlighting easy execution of combos and special moves with a controller. Character introductions are featured. Lele, Shienko, retains her arcade moves. Galen, John Telbane, is praised for his speed and beast-like abilities. Morrigan's animations are carefully ported. Dimitri, Olbath, Rikuo, with his tricky techniques, and Zabel, Lord Raptor, with his impressive moves, are all faithfully reproduced. The page emphasizes the variety of characters and gameplay styles, promising a satisfying experience for Saturn fans. The next page is all about the SEGA Saturn version of 3x3 Eyes, Holy Demon Beast, last of the 3x3 Eyes. And it's boasting about being a significant power-up from other console versions with brand new cutscenes. They're calling it Saturn version New Cut, and highlighting that these new scenes weren't in the Super Famicom or PlayStation versions. The Saturn team is taking extra care, going through development checks, and ensuring everything is polished. They emphasize that while the main story isn't changed, the overall presentation and atmosphere are much improved, making the story easier to follow. They are really pushing the idea that players will appreciate the effort put into this version. The page also mentions the integration of digital cell animation with CG backgrounds, which is a key feature they're showing off. They're also adding supplemental cuts to further enhance the experience and address areas that felt lacking in other versions. They even mention a bonus OMake disc is included. Finally, they discuss the window display options for dialogue, showcasing expansion mode and contraction mode. They explain that the window size and text size can be adjusted, a feature implemented for both the Saturn and PlayStation versions. They ponder if there will be any other differences between the versions other than this window setting. The SEGA Saturn version of 3x3 Eyes, Holy Demon Beast, includes a bonus OMake CD designed to enhance the player experience. This CD, usable before playing the main game, features content from the game's development, notably footage from a Hong Kong location scouting trip used to inspire the game's backgrounds. It includes interviews with voice actors and behind-the-scenes glimpses, offering a deeper dive into the game's world. The Cred's user-friendly design allows players to select characters and view various content. It also features a dictionary of in-game terms and showcases graphics. The bonus CD aims to provide added value to Saturn users and enrich the overall 3x3 Eyes experience. This page is a preview for the upcoming SEGA Saturn game Mobile Suit Gundam. Advertised as Coming Soon Soft and at 80% completion, it's slated for release on December 22nd, priced at 6,800 yen and classified as a shooting action game. The game boasts 3D battlefields, Operation Map support, and lock-on attacks, aiming to let players experience the pilot growth of someone like Amuro Ray. The page explains the game's structure, featuring beautiful visual scenes and a stage progression from 7 main stages to a total of 8 to 11 when including the initial ones. Stage previews highlight key scenes. Stage 1 shows Amuro's first Gundam sortie against 2 Zaku. Stage 2 depicts atmospheric entry and Char's Zaku attack. Stage 3 illustrates white base under attack by Gauze with Char appearing, and Stage 4 covers Lamba Ral's assault, seeking revenge for Garma. Gameplay screenshots feature ground battles between Gundam and Zaku, and also introduces a new mobile suit called the Hydro Rod. This page continues the Mobile Suit Gundam preview by diving into the game's operation manual. giving you the inside scoop on how to pilot your Gundam effectively. It highlights key gameplay mechanics like understanding your Gundam's condition, using support crafts strategically, and leveling up your pilot to unlock more powerful weapons. The manual section explains that skillful piloting is key, and you'll need to manage your Gundam's condition in battle. It details how to call in support crafts on the battlefield map to aid you, but warns that relying too much on support can weaken your white base defenses. Interestingly, some areas might not even allow support. The page also breaks down weapon types, including the white base's defensive capabilities, the beam rifle's energy usage, the hyper bazooka's power, and how to use the lock-on system effectively. It emphasizes that as you defeat enemies, your pilot level increases, leading to faster lock-on speeds, the ability to lock onto more targets, and access to new weapon types, hinting at a progression system where you get stronger as you play. Finally, it previews stages 5, 6, and 7. Stage 5 looks like a showdown with the Black Tri-Stars, while Stage 6 shifts to underwater combat. Stage 7 seems to feature a large-scale attack, with a mix of Zaku and Goof mobile suits, suggesting increasingly intense battles as you progress through the game. This page continues the Mobile Suit Gundam game preview, showcasing stages 8 and 9. Stage 8, Conscon Strong Attack, throws you into a fierce battle where the white base is pursued by Zeon forces, including the Zingabar and Conscon fleets. You'll be facing off against a squadron of 12 Rickdoms, really putting your piloting skills to the test. Interestingly, this section also touches upon the story, mentioning Amuro's encounter with Lala Sune at Side 6, hinting at the major impact this meeting has on his life and the awakening of his new One-type abilities. Moving on to Stage 9, Solomon Attack Battle. This stage depicts the Federation's assault on Solomon. Here, you'll encounter the massive mobile armor, Big Zam, known for its overwhelming firepower. The text emphasizes the sheer destructive power of the Big Zam and the heavy losses the Federation forces are taking. The review even highlights the emotional climax of this stage, focusing on the different perspectives of dying soldiers, and specifically mentions Slagerlaw's desperate final attack against the Big Zam to create an opening. This page continues the game preview, now moving on to stages 10 and 11. Stage 10 is titled Texas Attack, and it seems like McQuave is sending out his Gyan mobile suits. We see Char is testing out the Gelgoog and adjusting it ready for battle. You'll be fighting in a desert environment against these Gyan units. The text mentions that despite the colony being infiltrated by Gundam, the white base is running out of support, putting pressure on them. This stage seems to be a one-on-one fight against Gyan and Gelgoog. Stage 11, Luminous Universe, focuses on Lala Sun and her Elmeth mobile armor. It looks like Char encounters Lala again, and she deploys in the Elmeth. Even though Gundam and Lala seem to understand each other, they are forced to fight. We see screenshots of Elmeth attacking with its bits, and Gundam engaging. The description talks about the new Donatype research, and the Elmeth's bit attacks being difficult to evade. It concludes with Char, seemingly in Gelgoog, being defeated by a direct cockpit shot from Elmeth, and Amuro feeling a sense of sorrow as a result. It seems like the story is progressing towards a dramatic confrontation involving these new type characters. This page delves into Quo Vadis, with the development team sharing insights for SEGA Saturn users. They describe it as an SF story simulation, and mention that what's been revealed so far is just a small part of the overall game, encouraging players to experience the full story themselves. The developers talk about the challenges of creating the game on new hardware. One programmer mentions the difficulties with displaying images and moving objects, saying that a lot of time was spent on basic tests. He notes that it was tough to create detailed performance staging, but that the Saturn's capabilities are impressive, hinting at even more amazing software to come. Regarding 3D CG, another developer explains the adjustments required for the Saturn's hardware specs, leading to many corrections during development. The main character design by Orie Mikimoto, likely a stylized name, is highlighted as a significant workload, mainly done by a small team of 3. They aim to express Mikimoto's style in the game. The page also touches on gameplay tips for battle scenes, focusing on understanding enemy unit movements and positioning your units effectively. It emphasizes anticipating enemy movements and repositioning to gain an advantage. Finally, the completion rate is shown at 100%, with a release date of December 21st, price of 6,800 yen, and genre listed as SF Simulation. It mentions single-player mode only, and is suitable for all ages. The Quo Vadis developers, detail their design philosophy, particularly the challenge of translating anime-style visuals, especially Mikimoto's art, into the game. They aimed for high-quality CIG, initially experimenting with full 3D battles before opting for pre-rendered scenes to achieve the desired visual fidelity. Audio quality, including voice acting, also contributes to the immersive experience. Gameplay focuses on strategic depth in simulation battles, emphasizing prediction and unit positioning. The developers sought a balance between accessibility and complex strategy, utilizing unit strengths and weaknesses. Visually, the page showcases the transition from concept art to CG models for ships like the Kestrel and Sardine. It also reveals CG animation for fleet battles, with detailed explosions and dynamic attack/defense phases. Finally, Mikimoto's character designs, including Hal and Maria, are faithfully recreated in both original illustrations and in-game sprites, ensuring the artwork's essence is maintained. This page is all about the upcoming SEGA Saturn release of Virtual Racing. It's hyped as being 100% complete and ready to go, emphasizing the anticipation for the game. The text highlights that it aims to be even better than other racing games and mentions a time attack contest is planned. They're focusing on the different game modes, which include Arcade and Grand Prix. Arcade mode is described as capturing the thrill of the original arcade game, with tracks designed to be mastered. Grand Prix mode lets you earn points by placing high in races to upgrade your car and become champion, similar to an F1 setup, suggesting a deeper, more strategic experience. The page also emphasizes the exciting two-player versus mode. It mentions that the Saturn version boasts 10 courses, which is a significant upgrade compared to the 3 courses in the Mega Drive and 32X versions, making this a definitive version of Virtual Racing. Overall, it positions Virtual Racing on Saturn as a must-have title, especially for racing fans. This page explores features of Virtual Racing on the SEGA Saturn, covering gameplay modes and a contest. Practice mode allows players to master courses and car types with extensive settings adjustments. Option mode provides customization for difficulty, controls, and sound. Arcade mode offers diverse courses with varying difficulties, including locations in Europe and Japan. The page also hints at hidden techniques, secret car colors, and more cars on screen in full Grand Prix mode. Where is this section hints at hidden areas. Time attack contest, in partnership with SoftBank and Time Warner Interactive, challenges players to submit their best lap times in practice mode on videotape by January 31st. Prizes include Time Warner goods for the fastest times on each course, categorized by difficulty, plus a Replay Art Award for creative replay videos. Winners are announced in a February issue. This page is all about the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, In the Hunt, known in Japan as Kaitei Dai Sensu, which translates to Underwater Great War. It's touted as an image shooting game that perfectly recreates the intense atmosphere of the arcade version on the SEGA Saturn. The page emphasizes the thrilling tension and impressive graphics, highlighting the underwater setting and the desperate battles against bizarre creatures. The text mentions that the game was already 100% complete at the time of writing and set for release on December 15th, priced at 6,800 yen. It's suggested for all ages and supports two-player co-op. There are comments from someone involved in the game's development, expressing their happiness in being involved and feeling the impressive artwork is enhanced 500 times over the arcade version. They encourage everyone to play and enjoy In the Hunt. The page details the main weapon called Main Weapon Bomb on the Granbia submarine, explaining its types and power-up system. It also describes the Hydrophobia Clump Bus, which is a powerful torpedo weapon. The sub-weapon section explains different attack styles available both above and below the water surface, showcasing different attack types and weapon effects. The story section hints at a future where pollution has devastated the Earth, leading to conflicts and a desperate fight for survival beneath the waves, tasking the player with piloting the submarine Kugushul to stop a global crisis. This page continues showcasing the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, In the Hunt. It details each of the game's stages, from stage 1 to the last stage, highlighting the diverse environments and challenging boss encounters players can expect. Stage 1 is set in the South Pole and pits you against the boss Agog, a caveman-class submersible attack ship. Stage 2 takes place in a city of revival, where you'll face Manriki, an automated machining master mech. Stage 3 is the Earth-chained Guardian Fortress, culminating in a battle with Sugon, a giant subhuman boss. Stage 4, the Ghost City, features the Trumpet Ruler, an SICBM control unit, as the boss, set in the ruins of an ancient civilization. Stage 5 plunges you into the ultra-deep sea at 2,000 meters, where you'll encounter J3, described as the evil tripled lord of the Stone Palace. Finally, the last stage is against the human extermination system, with the ultimate boss, Yugusukure, and asks, "Where is Kosukure?" Each stage description gives a glimpse of the gameplay, mentioning enemy types, level designs, and the overall feel of the level, promising intense underwater action across varied and dangerous locations. The page emphasizes the scale and variety of the challenges awaiting players in the hunt. This guide outlines the core strategies for excelling in Theme Park, a simulation game where you build and manage your amusement park. The game, launching December 12th by Electronic Arts Victor, requires strategic planning across several key areas. First, establish pathways, the foundation of your park layout. Secondly, manage shop placement strategically to maximize revenue. Third, understand guest preferences when selecting attractions and shops to ensure satisfaction. Fourth, prioritize maintenance to keep rides operational. Element. Optimize guest flow with well-designed entrances, exits, and queue lines. Finally, invest in research and development to unlock new attractions and enhance existing ones. The game is single-player and suitable for all ages. This page showcases 3 different theme park models for the game Theme Park. It builds upon the previous page's strategies by illustrating practical applications of park design. Case 1 emphasizes visual appeal and planned layout. It suggests focusing on aesthetics by dividing the park into themed areas and creating a visually pleasing environment. The screenshot shows a well-organized park with distinct zones and decorative elements, highlighting the importance of a beautiful park to attract visitors. Case 2 focuses on thrill rides and aiming for an ultra-thrilling park. This model prioritizes high-thrill attractions like roller coasters to satisfy thrill seekers. The screenshot depicts a park packed with roller coasters and intense rides, appealing to players who want to create an exciting and adrenaline-pumping park experience. Case 3 explores a natural park concept with abundant greenery to soothe people's hearts. This approach focuses on creating a relaxing and nature-filled environment, with trees, water features, and natural scenery. The screenshot shows a park with lots of trees and natural elements, targeting players who prefer a more calming and aesthetically pleasing park atmosphere. Overall, the page presents different design philosophies for Theme Park, showcasing how players can tailor their park to different preferences, whether it's visually stunning, thrilling, or naturally beautiful. It encourages players to think about their park's theme and design strategically to appeal to various types of park visitors. The SEGA Saturn release of Darius Gaiden is presented as a near-perfect arcade port, arriving on December 15th for 5,800 yen, offering 1 to 2 player shooting action. The game's theme centers around Mother's Sorrow Darius Gaiden, a story branching from the original's W-Zone ending, promising new narrative elements. Gameplay focuses on the final stage zone, Z versus WX.YZ, detailing specific zones like Factory, Z, Wave, O, Sky Harbor, N, and C, E, each with unique enemy formations and recommended strategies. Power-ups are emphasized, including gold items for full power. 2 featured bosses are Great Thing, MK.2, and Risk Storage. Gameplay tips suggest maximizing shot, bomb, and armor upgrades, and utilizing red wave shots, options, and normal shots for best results. The SEGA Saturn version of Darius Gaiden features 5 distinct zones. Zone Z, the cave, presents enemies attacking from behind before leading to the Vermilion Coronatus boss. Zone O, the floating fortress, requires quick laser fire to handle ceiling hooks and unexpected no-master enemies, with Hysteric Empress as the boss. Zone N, the forest, features medium fish enemies and diagonal shots, with Odious Trident as the boss, and a capturable mid-boss for power-ups. Zone E, the underground magma zone, is a diagonal scrolling section filled with homing missiles and a sudden mid-boss, culminating in the curious chandelier boss. Finally, Zone A, the sky, is the final, intense stage, demanding skillful shooting to navigate woven enemy patterns before facing the Stormcauser boss. This page introduces Gearboxers, a Hyper 3D battle action game coming soon for the SEGA Saturn. It's described as a brand new type of game for the Saturn, a 3D shooting title focusing on versus battles. The game is said to be 70% complete at this point, and it emphasizes the use of command inputs for actions, which is highlighted as a key feature. The page details some unique command techniques common to all characters. These include moves like Evade Searcher, using L plus R buttons, described as dodging enemy attacks, Lock Release with LRC buttons for escaping lock-on, Jumping Return Bullet, using B, L plus R buttons to reflect enemy projectiles, and Falling and Homing Bullet with B, B, C buttons for a homing attack. There's a G-Bockers Members File section showcasing two characters, Pal and Fisher. Pal is described as a serious and righteous leader type, with high top speed and maneuverability, good for rushing in and attacking. Fisher is presented as an oddball type, but reliable, excelling in stable attacks and wave motion attacks, suggested for players who prefer careful and calculated play. The page mentions there are 8 playable characters in total, each with unique characteristics and command inputs for their attacks, encouraging players to explore different character styles. G-Bockers introduces several unique characters, each with a distinct playstyle. Nintin, a speedy powerhouse, utilizes rock attacks. Mugayan, the strategic type, employs tricky tactics and Earth Dragon fire pillars. Ray offers a balanced, versatile style with electric and close-quarters combat skills. Ian, the elusive gorilla, relies on hit-and-run tactics and missile attacks. Kid is an agile aerial specialist, utilizing tornado shots. Finally, City, the team mascot, is quick and deals damage with rapid-fire shots and a special Air Saga move. The game encourages players to find a character that fits their preferences and master their unique command inputs, showcasing their power, speed, and pressure through gameplay screenshots and stat graphs. Get ready for the Sega Saturn's Fist of the North Star. This fighting adventure game features a diverse roster, highlighted just before its launch. The story mode promises over 7,000 animation frames and a unique battle system inspired by anime action. Several characters are introduced, including Giza and Jad, deadly adversaries from the Hokuto Enlightenment sect, and Guran, a master of the South Star Phoenix Fist. Zaki, also from the South Star Sacred Fist, seeks strong opponents. Sanos, a formidable villain, controls resources, and Mishu, a memory-lost guardian, boasts various techniques. Guy, a follower of a demon, is also featured. Some, like Giza, Jad, Sanos, and Guy, are unavailable in versus mode. Guran, Zaki, and Mishu, however, can be used. The article emphasizes the characters' distinct fighting styles, building excitement for the game's release. This page details chapters 4 to 6 of the Fist of the North Star story mode for the Sega Saturn. Chapter 4 pits Kenshiro against Hosim, a corrupted Hokuto Shinken master from the Kingdom of Shura. Chapter 5 introduces Shelga and UJOH, two of the South Star Holy Fist's chariot stars, known for their brutal techniques. Chapter 6 focuses on Zeno, a Hokuto Musu Ryu successor, who schemes to manipulate Sharon, who possesses the Emperor's blood. The gameplay section highlights Kenshiro's powerful secret techniques, including Flying Phoenix 100 Crack Fist and Sky-Shattering Claws. A recap of previous chapters reveals Kenshiro's quest for Rin, chapters 2 and 3, his battles against Guran and Zaki, and his arrival at the Central Imperial Capital. There, he encounters Bat, Shaklin, and new threats like Mishu and Valet, setting the stage for the ongoing narrative. The story hints at Rin's disappearance and explores Falco's background. King of Fighters 95's Team Edit feature, allowing players to create custom teams from 24 characters, is the game's key innovation. Reviews highlight its impact, with players forming diverse teams. Satamaga Writer praises his Heaven team, Joe, Mary, Robert, highlighting its offensive power. An AOGO user creates a team with King, emphasizing her strength and command throws for victory. SNK Public Relations favors a balanced team based on Athena, enjoying its continuous attacks and aggressive playstyle. The feature is further enhanced by the screenshots of the user interface and the computer's use of Team Edit in versus com battles, making matches unpredictable and enjoyable. This page is focused on the upcoming Sega Saturn game, Fatal Fury 3. Road to the Final Victory. It highlights the game's refined system mechanics, emphasizing that it builds upon previous series entries. The page details 3 key systems: dash and backstep, quick sway, and oversway, each with explanations and screenshots demonstrating their use in gameplay. Dash and backstep are explained as quick movement options for offense and defense, while quick sway is presented as a way to evade enemy attacks and counter. Oversway is described as a more advanced technique to move into the background or foreground and create offensive opportunities. Finally, the page touches on combination arts, specifically showcasing Andy and Terry's combo attacks, noting that Andy's combos often start with punches, and Terry's have more variety, including kicks, emphasizing the depth of combat and combo potential in Fatal Fury 3. This page announces the upcoming release of the SEGA Saturn shooting game Gunbird. The page is enthusiastic, stating, "Gunbird's strategy is excellent, and encouraging players to gear up for the final 4 stages. It boasts a completion rate 100%, suggesting development is finished and ready for release." Pricing details are provided, mentioning it's an Atlas release for 5,800 yen, with an 800 yen SHT, likely referring to a special or promotional version, and supports 2-player gameplay. The page then dives into gameplay strategy with the heading, "Attacks are also good in the second half." It highlights the sea stage set in the Atlantic Ocean, and emphasizes the increased difficulty in the latter half of the game, mentioning tougher enemy trios. There's a sea stage checkpoint section, which points out that attacks from ships and fortresses are central to this stage. It advises players to be mindful of enemies in the air and pay attention to 4 key points for stage clear, ultimately aiming for boss domination. The page also details boss fight attack patterns for a giant steamship boss, mentioning attacking the tail and masts while bird robots appear. It gives hints on navigating through challenging sections labeled "Breakthrough Here," suggesting players utilize bomb attacks and focus on enemy weak points to progress effectively. The screenshots showcase intense shooting action with various enemies and the large steamship boss, providing visual cues for the strategies discussed. The Ruins Island stage of Gunbird, considered the true final area, is described as a challenging gauntlet. The stage introduces the Earth Deity Image boss, who appears alongside 3 smaller enemies. Players are advised to eliminate the smaller enemies first, and then prepare for intense attacks from the boss, requiring careful dodging and strategic bomb usage. The boss transforms 3 times, increasing the complexity of its attacks and requiring focused fire. The stage features bullet-spewing towers that must be quickly destroyed to avoid being overwhelmed. The difficulty is further emphasized with numerous tough enemies, urging players to utilize bombs wisely. The page then notes only 2 stages remain, with Ruins Island followed by the Divine Palace, promising an even more intense experience, leading to a satisfying ending. This page introduces Marriage, a coming-soon title described as a life simulation game where you can experience your future and find your ideal partner. It's highlighted as a simulation of the important life event of marriage, aiming to provide a realistic experience of finding a partner. The game boasts a dual-user system, allowing players to experience the game from both male and female perspectives. The page details the game's premise, choosing a partner from 5 men and 5 women, each with distinct personalities. It emphasizes that the goal is to navigate relationships and ultimately reach marriage within a year of in-game time. Gameplay involves managing schedules, finances, and physical condition to successfully build relationships. The system itself isn't overly complex, focusing on strategic choices. The page shows character profiles for both male and female partners, including names like Kato Miharu, Takashiro Raiko, Naka Shizuka, and Nakamoto Yo for women, and Arai Seibi, Arai Tatsuya, Shikamura Mamoru, Kato Yuya, and Takashiro Eiji for men. It also illustrates the game's flow, starting with player data input, where you set parameters like personality, name, birthday, and occupation, affecting income and stamina. You also determine your monthly budget for food, clothing, housing, and dating. The next stage is encountering potential partners through marriage counseling, leading to automatic connections and dates, suggesting a guided relationship building process. This page continues the preview of the upcoming life simulation game, Marriage, and focuses on gameplay mechanics related to scheduling, dating, and progression towards marriage. It details how you'll use an electronic organizer to manage your weekly schedule, booking dates, and self-improvement activities around your work. The game features a self-improvement menu with different options for male and female players. Men can choose activities like sports gym, driving school, and studying, while women have options like aerobics, language classes, and beauty treatments. These activities are tied to improving your character and relationships. Dating is a key element, and the page explains how you'll deepen your relationship by going on dates. It mentions 3 types of icons appearing during dates, likely representing different conversation or action choices. Screenshots showcase various date scenarios and character interactions. As the relationship progresses, the game moves into marriage proposals and meeting the parents, highlighting the steps involved in moving towards marriage. Finally, the page touches on wedding planning, including choosing a wedding venue from a selection of options, suggesting a level of customization for the wedding event. The overall impression is that Marriage offers a detailed simulation of relationship building and the journey towards marriage, with gameplay focused on scheduling, self-improvement, dating interactions, and eventual wedding preparations. This page showcases the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, Godzilla: Archipelago Shock, a real-time simulation that's aiming to please Godzilla fans. The preview highlights the game's story mode, which features 10 scenarios set across various locations in Japan. The game puts you in command of the Big Force, tasking you with strategically deploying units to defeat Godzilla and other iconic monsters in real-time battles. Forget turn-based combat, this is all about quick thinking and decisive action. The preview outlines the first 6 story stages, each with unique objectives and monster lineups. You'll face Godzilla and Anguirus in Osaka, tackle Godzilla and Mothra in Okinawa, and battle Mechagodzilla and Rodan in Kumamoto. Later stages introduce even more kaiju chaos, with Space Godzilla, Gigan, King Ghidorah, Biollante, Batra, and even Destoroyah further down the line. Interestingly, the preview mentions that Anguirus's roar is considered cute, and the game uses the classic Monster Zero March music. The reviewer jokingly mentions someone calling it Satake's theme, showing a bit of lighthearted commentary. Screenshots showcase in-game action, including battle scenes and victory/defeat screens. It's emphasized that strategic planning is key to success in this monster-filled simulation, with a 90% completion rate at the time of writing, and a release date set for December 22nd. This Godzilla game looks ready to stomp its way onto the Saturn. This page announces Clockwork Knight, Pepperu Chow's Fortune Bag, for the SEGA Saturn, a special New Year edition of the game. It's highlighted as being more than just a compilation, boasting a 100% completion rate and packed with extra features. This edition combines both upper volume and lower volume versions of Clockwork Knight, which are likely the first and second games, into one package, described as a Fortune Bag Service Edition with many bonuses. Among the extras are Boss on Parade, Opening Performance, and Movie on Parade modes. The Movie mode lets you watch all the cutscenes in order, offering a 15-minute summary of the story. The Boss Game mode allows you to fight bosses from both games, and defeating them unlocks sub-characters on the title screen. There are also hidden mini-games, like one shown where you drop Pepperu Chow onto ink bottles. The page emphasizes that this Pepperu Chow's Fortune Bag is full of extras, making it a worthwhile purchase. DX Jinsei Game, or DX Life Game, for the SEGA Saturn offers a humorous twist on the classic life simulation board game. Players experience the life of Satakichi-san, making choices and navigating life stages. The game begins with advice-based choices and quizzes, culminating in career paths. One path allows you to become an evil overlord, managing rivals, assets, and underlings, with potential to become a politician. Gameplay includes marriage, dates, and presents. The game promises a long, varied experience, with hidden events, century-end events, and a focus on financial management. It aims to provide a fun and engaging take on the ups and downs of life. This page is all about the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, Tenchi Muyo, Miyuri Onsen Yuke Muri no Tabi. It's an adventure simulation game boasting multiple endings. The article highlights a brand new character named Mayuri, and her profile is shown, revealing she's 10 years old, 136 centimeters tall, and enjoys playing with big toys and taking baths. The game focuses on character interaction and enjoying conversations with your favorite characters. It's described as an anime-style adventure where you progress through the story through dialogue choices, aiming for different endings. The game system is packed with features, including options to view character introductions, opening and prologue sequences, and even track your scenario completion rate. They're also putting in extra effort with graphics and debugging. Screenshots show dialogue scenes and system menus. One section mentions that even for Tenchi Muyo beginners, the game provides introductions to characters, and the story can be replayed. The game aims for 100% scenario completion, and graphics are prioritized for easier play. The game is 50% complete at this stage, and is priced at 8,900 yen for 2 discs, recommended for ages 18 and up, classified as an adventure simulation game by U-Media. This page is all about Hyper 3D Golf, Devil's Course, and it's being advertised as an incredibly challenging golf game, even described as a super difficult course, and the Devil's Course. Apparently, this course is known for its extreme difficulty within the series. They mention it features 18 holes and boasts gameplay modes like an option mode for adjusting settings, and a record mode to track detailed play data and achievements. A cool feature they are highlighting is hyper shots, which are special power shots you can unleash when your power gauge is full. There are 4 types of hyper shots that can be used strategically based on different situations. The screenshots show in-game action, menus, and examples of these hyper shots in action. The game is marked as 100% complete and is slated for release in Japan on December 15th, priced at 5,800 yen, supporting up to 4 players. The overall tone is that this is a golf game for serious players who love a real challenge. This page is showcasing the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, Father Christmas, which is described as a digital fantasy adventure where you travel the globe with Santa. It's designed to be educational, focusing on geography for kids. The game is presented as a Christmas present from England, mentioning Beatrix Potter and Diana, suggesting it's inspired by British children's stories. The gameplay seems to revolve around receiving postcards from Father Christmas and using clues to find him as you explore different locations around the world. It's highlighted as a digital guide for geographic study, offering a chance to learn about world geography, including nature, culture, history, and more through gameplay. The screenshots illustrate world map exploration and interactions with characters. They also emphasize that the game includes animated story videos and the Father Christmas narrative itself. It's marked as 100% complete and is scheduled for release on December 8th at a price of 5,800 yen for a single player. It looks like a family-friendly title aimed at making learning geography fun during the Christmas season. Magical Drop, a puzzle game for the SEGA Saturn, is nearly complete and slated for a December 15th release, costing 5,800 yen. This port mirrors the arcade version and offers gameplay for 1 to 2 players of all ages. The game features diverse modes set in Magical Land, where 6 magical beings battle. Gameplay involves arranging falling magical drops of various colors to clear them by matching 3 or more. Special drops also exist. Single-player mode lets you defeat Isabella Sar, with unique fairies, each having special drops and attack styles. 2-player mode is a competitive versus mode. Puzzle mode challenges players to clear drops within limited moves, teaching basic techniques. This page is all about Dragon Force. It's highlighting Leon and Junon this month, showcasing some exciting visual scenes from the game. Apparently, the visual scenes are becoming even more impressive as development progresses, and there are over 200 of these visual scenes in the game. We get to see Leon in his battle-worn armor, and Zhu Prukenyon in her masked guise, both looking really cool. There's a section with Bankichi talking about the game's battle scenes. He's super hyped, mentioning the large-scale battles with over 120 soldiers and commanders all fighting it out. He emphasizes that the battlefield is the main stage, and mentions that troop types are diverse with around 10 types of soldiers, knights, and even harpy-like units and other unusual races, each with unique movements. Finally, there's a section about Norn and the history of the Dragon Force world. It talks about 6 goddesses who created stars, and the Dragon Star, which is also a star. This Dragon Star, called Harskald, was created by the 6 goddesses and the Dragon Star. It mentions that the goddesses and Dragon Star created Harskald as the first world, placing Legend Earth in a prime location. Legend Earth is described as a land of lush greenery and vibrant seasons. The stories of the goddesses and Dragon Star are passed down through generations as mythology. It sounds like this world has a rich and deep backstory. The provided text summarizes the setting of the game Dragon Force, specifically focusing on 2 nations, Topaz and Tristan. Topaz, a religious nation, prospers as a trade hub despite its cooler climate. Ruled by a king and guided by faith, their military is centered around monk warriors. Here, key figures include Leon and Yuika. In contrast, Tristan is a military empire located on a cold, less fertile peninsula, ruled by an emperor. They have a unique harpy-based air force and prioritize military strength. Their key characters include Juninon and Iris. The text also includes a developer diary entry discussing the creation of visual event scenes, the number of which is being increased to enhance the game's content. This page is all about character deep dives and fan interaction for Dragon Force. It spotlights Mikazuki, a 24-year-old, 178 centimeters tall swordsman from Izumo, described as having a slender build but toned muscles. He's got good eyesight, a relaxed personality, and his fighting style is based on intuition rather than formal techniques. The text elaborates on his backstory as the first successor of Izumo, who initially left his country for sword training, but returned after his father's death to lead. There's a Ask Queen Leorn Anything section, where a fan writes in concerned about rumors of Queen Leorn from Dragon Force being hospitalized with pneumonia. The magazine clarifies it's just a rumor, likely a misunderstanding, and reassures fans that Queen Leorn is doing fine and urges them to get some rest. Then there's a fan mail section titled Dear Waiter's Room, featuring a letter from a fan named Chichan from Fukuoka Prefecture. The fan expresses their anticipation for Dragon Force, initially thinking it would be tedious, but now finding the story intriguing and is eagerly awaiting the game. The page also includes fan art submissions. ADF Cult Quiz section poses Dragon Force-related questions to test fan knowledge. The quiz asks about Mikazuki's homeland, what Leon calls women who are easy to fool, the name of the holy dragon, and Mikazuki's favorite food. Finally, there's a small recruitment section looking for people to contribute letters and illustrations for the corner. The next page introduces Sea Bass Fishing, a brand new authentic fishing game for the SEGA Saturn, slated for release on February 23rd, and priced at 6,800 yen. This game is touted as a serious fishing simulation, fully utilizing 3D polygon graphics that were also seen in the boxing game, King of Boxing. The page emphasizes the game's realism, mentioning that all fishing gear appearing in the game are actual Daiwa brand products available for purchase. It highlights the tournament mode as a key feature, promising a realistic fishing competition experience. Players can expect to encounter various characters in the guest room, choose a captain from 3 options, and carefully select their lures and fishing tackle to compete. Screenshots showcase the gameplay, including lure selection menus, in-game fishing views, and even the excitement of hooking a fish with "Fish On!" displayed. The article focuses on the thrill of battling polygonal sea bass and other fish, describing it as a white-hot fight. It mentions the opening and boat departure sequences are rendered in beautiful 3D CG, enhancing the atmosphere of the game. Overall, sea bass fishing is presented as a compelling and realistic fishing simulation that captures the essence of sea bass angling. This page is a special feature on the SEGA Saturn game King of Boxing, revealing behind-the-scenes development stories. It starts by introducing the development team from Victor Entertainment, who are game enthusiasts themselves. The article then dives into interesting anecdotes from the development. One story talks about how a boxer's face in a screenshot looks like a door knocker, because during development, a staff member accidentally captured a frame where the boxer was guarding his face, creating this funny image. Another story highlights a bug where a boxer's face appears to be in a state of ecstasy due to lighting issues during development, making it look like his face is pure white from light hitting it from both sides, which was a funny error not present in the final version. A further anecdote humorously describes a glitch where a boxer's head seemed to disappear during gameplay, as if he was beheaded by a Jamila-like boxer. Lastly, there's a quirky story about the inclusion of a kangaroo as a playable character, suggesting it was added almost as an afterthought, with the developers jokingly asking, "Isn't boxing about kangaroos?" The article concludes by discussing what makes a beautiful replay in boxing games, noting that the best replays are often the photos taken right after a knockout, capturing the decisive moment. This page announces the upcoming Game Gear version of Lunar, which is coming out soon after being in development for about 3 months. It highlights that the story takes place in the same lunar world, but with a slightly different feel. The page introduces character designs for Ellie and Lena, and also Win and Senya, who seem to be involved in a school drama set on Edian Island. There's a section showing character portraits, with HP stats, and a little map of Ian Island, detailing different locations like the school, shopping street, lake, and even a dungeon-like hole. Below the character introductions, it introduces the teachers: Glenn Sensei, Data Sensei, Ayasen Sensei, and Emma Sensei, suggesting they are also important characters in this school setting. The page finishes with a lively group shot of students seemingly on the island. The Saturn version of Lunar: The Silver Star is nearing completion with a planned spring release. Developers are focusing on the latter half of the game and promise significant differences from the Mega CD version, including new content. Screenshots reveal diverse environments like towns, volcanoes, dungeons, and waterfronts. The page also spotlights illustrator Sato Atsushi's detailed artwork, which is fully integrated into the Saturn version. His illustrations showcase locations like Fruit Village, Black Dragon Mountain, and the Blue Sea Dragon Shrine. A fan section includes fan art and love letters. Fans express their enthusiasm for the series, with some requesting Lunar 2 and anime adaptations. Multiple fan illustrations are featured, demonstrating the community's passion for the game. This page is dedicated to Red Company and their upcoming game, Sakura Wars. It's showcasing the character design process, with setting materials focusing on facial expressions for Sumire Kanzaki, Sakura Shinguji, and Maria Tachibana. We get to see various sketches and notes about each character's personality and design elements. The bottom half of the page features an interview with Kitao Motohiko, the director of general headquarters at Red Company. He discusses Red Company's approach, positioning themselves as a creator group rather than just a software company. He mentions their well-known Farland story series and its connection to the Lunar series via Yuna and the Haunted Seal. Kitao highlights their focus on user feedback and their aim to create high-quality, creator-driven content. He also touches on their expansion into various media formats like comics and radio programs, seeing themselves as a multimedia company. Sakura Wars is presented as a challenging project for them, aiming to push the boundaries of media and deliver something truly unique and engaging. They are committed to taking on challenges and exploring new possibilities in media. This page seems to be delving into the mindset of game creators, specifically focusing on something called the AB style of game development. It outlines a three-step process: idea creation, investing in hobbies, and transforming into super alloy money. The article suggests this is a system for generating profitable ideas from personal interests and hobbies, comparing it to a loop where passion translates to profit. There's a section introducing Tempo, described as a fresh, irregular bullet type of game, praising its character animation and concept, though it seems currently incomplete or under development. It mentions that Saturn Software is still planning to revive it, suggesting it might be a project in progress at that company. The article seems to be encouraging reader anticipation for future developments on Tempo. Finally, Industry Person's Field of Vision talks about the author's current state of mind, positioning themselves as someone who balances work and hobbies. It uses the imagery of a super alloy museum and a 1F cafe super alloy to represent this balance, suggesting a playful and imaginative approach to the industry. The page ends with a call for reader submissions of postcards to the magazine's editorial department, mentioning prizes and future memos, which sounds like planning for upcoming content. It also mentions the software Tempo for Super 32X, as well as Super Magic Continent WAS for SF, and asks for reader feedback in the form of postcards. SEGA is promoting the Saturn as more than just a game console, dubbing it a hub for non-game entertainment with its non-game faction declaration. They're leveraging CD-ROM technology and online services to deliver software beyond typical games, emphasizing story and data. Their Saturn multimedia strategy diagram illustrates this, branching out from games to hobbies, TV, anime, communication, music, idols, sports, and education. Upcoming non-game titles include Kitchen Stadium Tour, a tour experience based on the Iron Chef TV show, Nandemo Kantaidan, Treasure Appraisal Group, a CD-ROM version of the show, and Aquazone, a deep aquarium simulation game where players raise tropical fish. SEGA showcased several non-game software titles for the Saturn. Emit offered English language learning through an anime drama format. Ayrton Senna Personal Talk was a memorial software with video and database elements. X-Japan Virtual Shock 001 provided a music entertainment experience centered around the band X-Japan, with plans for a sequel. Lupin III: The Master File offered a vast collection of Lupin III content. Ekijima was a celebrity-focused game. Daisuke Asakura Media Romancer targeted fans of the musician Daisuke Asakura. Finally, Cubic Gallery aimed to educate and entertain through art appreciation, allowing exploration of famous artworks. This page is introducing a complete guide to SEGA Saturn software. It's advertising a thorough walkthrough for SEGA Saturn games that have been released. The guide promises to be packed with helpful strategy tips and newly revealed secret techniques. We can see it teases upcoming articles on games like X-Men, Children of the Atom, Virtua Cop, Chibi Maruko-chan's Puzzle Dama competition, and Tushinden Bass. It seems to be setting up the game guide section of the magazine. This page dives into the combo techniques for X-Men, Children of the Atom. It starts by explaining what combos are in fighting games, basically unavoidable series of attacks. Then, it breaks down combo types into categories like button mash for simple rapid button presses, cancel type for interrupting normal moves with special moves, I press type, which sounds like character-specific combos linking normal moves, and chase attack type for punishing downed opponents. The page gives advice on finding combos by focusing on jump-in attacks and dash attacks as starting points. It also mentions that they've added a group battle mode to the game, allowing up to 5 players per side for tag team battles. Finally, the page spotlights Cyclops, describing his combo techniques. It points out that his basic combos are easy to execute by just timing button presses, and you can extend them with a rising uppercut followed by a cancel into a strong attack. It also mentions a dash weak kick combo and advises players to get in close with Cyclops for effective attacks, especially against larger characters, but to be careful against smaller characters like Wolverine. This guide details character spotlights and combo techniques for X-Men, Children of the Atom, focusing on Wolverine, Iceman, Storm, and Silver Samurai. Wolverine excels at close-range combat and combos, utilizing dash attacks and his Tornado Claw. Iceman is versatile, with easy-to-learn combos culminating in the Ice Avalanche Special and effective long-range ice beams. Storm is fast but lacks strong combos. Instead, she uses hit-and-run tactics with whirlwind and projectile attacks. Silver Samurai is a power-up character, relying on quick-draw sword attacks and the division technique, followed by powerful single hits or the 100 for massive damage. The author initially underestimated Storm, but discovered her strength and effectiveness after playing her, especially with her whirlwind and projectile moves. This page continues the character guides for X-Men, Children of the Atom, introducing Omega Red, Sentinel, Colossus, and Spiral. Omega Red is described as having powerful continuous techniques, using punch cancels into kicks, and culminating in his Omega Destroyer special. Sentinel is highlighted for strong normal attacks, and cancel-based special moves, like the Rocket Punch combo, utilizing missiles and lasers. Colossus, while slow, packs a punch with high-power moves. His combos include jumping attacks into strong power tackles and a super dive move. Spiral is presented as a character with weaker attacks but high hit counts, emphasizing her long reach, strong punch, and dancing sword techniques, recommending dash weak kick and strong punch combos. There's also a Capcom mini-interview section where they address questions about the Saturn version of the game. They confirm that character sizes are the same as the arcade version, but the Saturn version is considered superior. They clarify that intermediate graphics for special moves are not cut, and are almost at the same level due to RAM capacity balance. Most characters are not available in the initial settings but can be enabled via the R button in Options. When asked about a Psylocke challenge, they encourage players to try her out. Finally, in-house popular characters are mentioned as Wolverine and Psylocke. This page highlights Virtua Cop, focusing on a hidden Option Plus mode, in addition to the standard rank certification mode. The page asks if players have discovered this secret mode. To unlock it, you need to play through stages 1, 2, and 3 in order, and defeat the boss Fang. This unlock condition is the same as for the rank certification. The page then shifts to Scoop Check, stating that these are essential tips for a complete or playthrough, focusing on hidden lives. It reveals that there are a total of 3 hidden life power-ups to be found throughout the game. Specifically, there are 2 hidden lives in Stage 2 and 1 in Stage 3, showing screenshots of where to find them. Finally, the page pinpoints a challenging part in early Stage 2, giving advice on how to get past it. It details a puzzle-like element involving shooting specific boxes in a sequence to reveal a life power-up. The advice encourages players to figure out the order and timing of shooting these boxes to gain extra lives, emphasizing that it's simple once you know the trick. This page delves deeper into the Option Plus secret mode in Virtua Cop, revealing several changes and additions. Firstly, there's a mirror mode, which flips the entire display horizontally, affecting backgrounds, characters, and even text, creating a mirrored game experience. Secondly, the text language can be switched to English, changing subtitles and menu text, which is useful for players familiar with the overseas version. Another key change is the difficulty level, which has expanded from 3 stages to 6. The game speed and enemy aggressiveness are adjusted across these new levels, adding a wider range of challenge. Free play is also now an option, allowing unlimited continues by setting credits to a maximum of 9, meaning you can practice endlessly. The page highlights a new bookkeep feature in Saturn's Virtua Cop, which meticulously tracks various gameplay statistics. This includes the number of games played by both 1P and 2P players, total playtime, average playtime per credit, longest playtime, shortest playtime, highest score, and lowest score. This detailed record-keeping offers players a comprehensive overview of their performance. Finally, there's a segment featuring AM2R&D Department Number 2, with comments from Virtua Cop thief Makoto Kikuchi about the Option Plus mode. He explains that the mirror mode was a feature they considered adding, and that the text language option and the detailed bookkeeping were also added in this version. The page ends with a question about gun select, hinting at further features to be revealed in the next issue. This guide introduces Chibi Maruko-chan no Taikosen Pazurudama, a puzzle game for the Sega Saturn. It focuses on strategies to quickly master the game. The core gameplay involves matching colored dama balls horizontally to eliminate them. The guide outlines 2 main game modes: single player against a challenging AI, and 2-player versus mode, where character selection and handicaps influence gameplay. Specific character strategies are detailed. Against Maruko, the advice is to wait for her to build uneven stacks, then launch counterattacks. Against Nagasawa, the strategy involves focusing on the left side of the play area, creating chains and combos, especially 4-ball eliminations. Early game strategy focuses on clearing balls and sending them to your opponent. This page continues the strategy guide for Chibi Maruko-chan no Taikosen Pazurudama. It delves into specific tactics for different opponents in the game. The first section focuses on strategies against 1-chan. It highlights the importance of matching the rising Gokudama balls effectively. The advice is to use a wait strategy against 1-chan, allowing her to build uneven stacks before launching counterattacks. It emphasizes clearing efficiently and strategically sending garbage balls to disrupt her. The next part discusses whether there's a guaranteed counter strategy, particularly for Hanawa-kun. It points out that Hanawa's attack patterns differ, with balls falling from above. The suggested tactic is to focus on filling gaps with same-colored balls and concentrating attacks in one area to return damage effectively. It's described as a defensive approach. Finally, the guide covers strategies against Yamada-kun. Yamada-kun sends balls from below in 2 columns, making him less challenging than 1-pro-chan. The recommended approach is to utilize the center column for attacks and create combos. It suggests using red, yellow, green, and purple balls strategically. Throughout the page there are gameplay screenshots illustrating these strategies and diagrams, showing Kugeki Dama patterns, which seem to be attack ball patterns used by the characters. Overall, this page gives specific character-based strategies for Chibi Maruko-chan no Taikosen Pazurudama, guiding players on how to approach different opponents effectively. This page continues the strategy guide for Chibi Maruko-chan no Taikosen Pazurudama, and dives into tactics for 3 more opponents: Maru-kun, Tomozo, and Tama-chan. First up is Maru-kun. The strategy here is straightforward. Just line them up in the gaps between the echo balls. It's all about quickly filling in the spaces as the balls fall, creating simple patterns to clear efficiently. The guide mentions that you can also use a strategy of charging up your attacks before returning them to Maru-kun, suggesting a counterattack approach is also viable. Next we have Tomozo. Similar to Maru-kun, the guide suggests charging up and returning attacks is effective. Tomozo's attacks are described as scattered and continuous, coming one after another. This implies that Tomozo might overwhelm you with a constant barrage, so absorbing these attacks and then launching a counterattack is a good strategy. Finally, there's Tama-chan. The guide states, returning is easy when facing Tama-chan, implying she's a simpler opponent compared to the others. The tactics are similar to Tomozo and Maruo-kun. Clear quickly and efficiently. The guide even uses the term Daruma Otoshi, like a tumbling doll game, suggesting a vertical clearing method might be effective against Tama-chan. Overall, these strategies emphasize understanding opponent attack patterns and focusing on efficient clearing and counterattacking to win in Chibi Maruko-chan no Taikosen Pazurudama. This page dives into Battle Arena to Shinden Ultimate Revengeance, and shows off some quirky features. They're highlighting a big head mode, activated by holding L and R when you select your game mode. Apparently this mode makes all the characters' heads enormous, and you'll only play one round per fight. It also seems like in the computer battles, even characters like Duke, Gaia, Xiao, and Cupid will appear with big heads. But that's not all. The page also unveils new alternate costumes for some characters. E.G. gets a cool black outfit, Sophia gets a silver one, and Ellis gets a black costume too. Interestingly, Ellis's black costume has a kind of see-through effect, which is described as being 200% sexier. To pick these alternate colors, you just need to press down on the D-P-A-D when choosing AG, Sophia, or Ellis at the character select screen. The article points out that these new costumes are just for looks and don't change how the characters play, so it's all about style. This page is all about Ellis, from Battle Arena to Shinden Ultimate Revengeance, and how to defeat Cupid. It's framed as if Ellis herself is talking, expressing surprise at how strong Cupid is, and especially noting Cupid's long reach with her weapons. They even mention that Cupid's weapons can hit twice in a row, making her a tough opponent. The page highlights several screenshots of Ellis in action against Cupid, demonstrating some flashy moves. It even reveals a secret art move for Ellis called Mirage Saber, and suggests using it to get close to Cupid and attack. The article gives gameplay advice suggesting players should close the distance to fight Cupid effectively. There's also a section featuring a writer called Machida Ellis, who's a big fan of Ellis. They express their deep affection for the character, saying they always pick Ellis and find her incredibly charming. They even mention feeling emotionally attached to game characters and describe Ellis's love fire syndrome, which apparently makes them want to pick her all the time. The writer reminisces about their experiences playing as Ellis and how they were initially drawn to her, despite perhaps being a slightly harder character to use at first. They end by asking readers to support Ellis. The next page reveals all the simple command lists for characters in Battle Arena to Shinden. It seems the writers heard players struggling with special moves and decided to publish this handy guide. They even joke about how some players are frustrated because they can't pull off the moves. This page aims to fix that by showing simplified commands, even for secret moves. They've listed commands for 8 characters: E.G., Kane, Duke, Sophia, Ho, Mondo, Ranger, and Ellis. For each character, there's a list of their special moves and the button combinations to perform them. The text mentions that these simplified commands can make some characters surprisingly strong. For example, regarding Kane, it's mentioned that his Raging Sun and Rainbow Splash are now easily executable, which could be quite powerful. And for Sophia, they joke that her moves are so easy to pull off, maybe they're too good. The page highlights how using these simplified commands can really boost your fighting ability. SEGA AM3's new arcade game, Manx TT Rush, is finally hitting arcades after its JAMA show reveal. This body sensation game features a motion-sensing cabinet designed for immersion. The upgraded graphics and sound, including powerful vibrations, aim to make players feel like they're riding a motorcycle. The game offers rider and rear views, emphasizing a high sense of speed. Michelin branding enhances the realism. The AM's active motion slider system uses servo motors for realistic movement. The cabinet boasts features like foot pegs and a powerful muffler. The 59-inch cabinet supports linked play for up to 8 players. The arcade cabinet costs 6,600,000 yen. This game appears to push the envelope for arcade racing experiences. This page focuses on an interview with Mr. Tetsuya Mizuguchi from AM3 Research and Development, the producer of the new arcade game Manx TT Rush. It's a direct interview just as the game is about to hit arcades after its showing at the JAMA show. Mr. Mizuguchi talks about the game's development, saying the design is mostly done and about 70% complete, with the team aiming for 100% within the next 3 weeks after the interview, focusing on performance testing and game content. He emphasizes that they are striving to recreate the feeling of actually riding a motorcycle. The team is putting a lot of effort into the sound design, especially the exhaust sounds and vibrations, to enhance the realism and the physical sensation of speed. He mentions the positive feedback from location tests at the JAMA show and other places. People seem to really enjoy the immersive feeling of the game. When asked about a potential SEGA Saturn version, Mr. Mizuguchi acknowledges it's a different challenge compared to the arcade. hinting that if they were to do a Saturn port, they'd need to rethink aspects of the game. He finishes by talking about the team's hard work and expressing his hope that players will enjoy the game and have a great experience. You can also see screenshots from the game showing the course selection screen, with options like Seaside Course and TT Course, and in-game action shots of the Lac Cour Coast and TT Course tracks. Big news! Cyber Troopers Virtual-On, a hit at the JAMA show, is coming to the SEGA Saturn, slated for release around January. Alongside this announcement, a special poster giveaway is planned. The page features an interview with Virtual-On's virtual Aroid designer, Hajime Katoki. He details his design process, starting with initial sketches based on a broad concept. Katoki focused on details, mentioning influences from other mecha designs like Balba's Bow and Fei Yin. He designed about 8 main virtualoids, prioritizing gameplay balance. Temjin, the most standard virtualoid, was designed quickly. He also discussed incorporating outside ideas. The interview concludes with Katoki's surprise at the game's success and the team's dedication to player satisfaction. The page includes design sketches and screenshots. This page from the SEGA AM2 Research Express Neo Corner, Volume 13, reveals exciting news. Sonic the Hedgehog is making a comeback in a brand new fighting game developed by AM2. It's described as a super-secret project that's finally surfacing. The article highlights that this new Sonic game is a fighting game using Sega's iconic character, with familiar faces like Sonic and Tails confirmed as playable. They will battle it out on colorful stages, and it's mentioned that the game is being produced by Yu Suzuki himself. Screenshots showcase the 3D graphics running on Model 2 hardware at a smooth 60 frames per second, emphasizing the fluid character animations. There's a glimpse of a character select screen, hinting at more characters to be revealed. Stage designs are also mentioned, featuring looped environments and vibrant backgrounds that Sonic fans will appreciate. The reviewer is impressed by the game's use of real-time CG and the dynamic movements of the characters. They also draw comparisons to Virtua Fighter 2, suggesting that just like in VF2, characters will have unique poses and moves, including signature Sonic abilities like Oil Panic and Tornado Attack. The article is clearly building excitement for this new fighting Sonic game, promising an innovative next-generation Sonic experience. This page continues the exciting reveal of the new Sonic fighting game from AM2, featuring an interview with Yu Suzuki himself. He talks about why Sonic is perfect for a fighting game, emphasizing the character's inherent appeal. They wanted to bring Sonic's charm to the fighting genre, much like they did with Virtua Fighter and Fighting Vipers. Suzuki mentions they are aiming for a shorter playtime per game, around 2 to 3 minutes, to make it more arcade-friendly. He highlights the visual aspect, noting Sonic and Tails' expressive 2D and 3D character designs that fill the screen. They are aiming to showcase a cool and even pretty side of Sonic, fully expressing their personalities. Gameplay-wise, it's designed to be easy to pick up and play, with simple controls like punch, kick, and a special move button, similar to Virtua Fighter and Fighting Vipers, but more accessible to a wider audience. While VF and Vipers are deep, and for hardcore players, this Sonic fighter is intended to be enjoyed by families and casual gamers, bringing the depth of fighting games into a Sonic framework. The stages are ringed arenas, reminiscent of Fighting Vipers, but they are making sure to retain Sonic's freedom of movement and diverse actions, going beyond typical fighting game moves. The title emphasizes running, flying, and fighting, showcasing the dynamic action. You can also see images of the character models evolving, showing the improvements in polygon modeling and character expressions. This page delves deeper into the exciting new Sonic fighting game from AM2. The development team mentions the game is currently about 23% complete. Apparently, the development started with a designer modeling Tails, and the whole team is very enthusiastic, working hard on character expressions and over-the-top actions. The backgrounds and screens we're seeing are also being designed by the same designer. They're highlighting that even though they're using similar CG boards as Model 1 for Virtua Fighter, this is the first time they're bringing Sonic into a 3D CG fighting space, aiming for something visually appealing and engaging. Suzuki-san mentions they've shown a version of the game to others recently and received very positive feedback, especially about how smoothly the characters move at 60 FPS. He is confident they are creating something great that captures the essence of Sonic. There are sections discussing Super Sonic and Stage for Super Sonic. They are considering including him as a powerful form in later installments, similar to Sonic 2, and are eager to implement him. Regarding stages, they mention incorporating casino-themed stages that would be fun and appealing. They're aiming for a release around early summer. Finally, a checkpoint section titled Challengers Are Who shows silhouettes and names of potential characters: Metal Sonic, Amy, Knuckles, and Dr. Eggman, teasing who will be joining Sonic in this fighting game. They are checking representative characters and hints at new characters being researched by AM2. It's looking like a fantastic lineup. The interview with Fighting Vipers chief developer Katagiri Yuichi highlights the arcade game's positive reception, especially from Virtua Fighter fans who appreciate the similar controls. Katagiri discusses the Vipers test, a skill-based ranking mode designed for addictive gameplay, emphasizing its speed and win-based scoring system. Regarding the Saturn port, Katagiri promises a faithful recreation of the arcade experience, focusing on a smooth transition and including story and demo sequences tailored for single-player enjoyment. He aims to capture the depth and appeal of Fighting Vipers for the home console. The article also showcases demo scenes and the Vipers test ranking screen, along with in-game advertisements. Additionally, it previews the Virtua Fighter CG Portrait series, starting with Lao and Wolf, featuring high-quality 3D modeling. Lion and Shundai portraits are slated for a later release. This page is from the AM2 R&D department, bringing you the latest info, and this time it's all about Virtua Surf and Honey from Fighting Vipers. They're running a Virtua Fighter 2 game tournament nationwide. Readers have been sending in questions to AM2 staff, and they're answering them directly. There's talk about Fighting Vipers, goods like plushies, t-shirts, and even armor being released. Someone is asking about Virtua Fighter 3 and if character movements will be more realistic. Another question is about Coup 2 and if character abilities are changing. There's a Hagaki Big Recruitment section, which looks like they are asking for reader submissions. The AM2 Research Gallery section is showcasing fan art and reader submissions, with characters from Virtua Fighter, Virtua Cop, and Fighting Vipers featured. They are even giving away special t-shirts to people who submit. It looks like they are featuring reader comments and fan art related to AM2 games, showing off drawings of characters like Sarah, Akira, and others from the AM2 universe. This page reviews two SEGA Saturn games, Father Christmas and Clockwork Knight Pepperushow's Fortune. Father Christmas, an edutainment title, received mixed reviews. The Lady Users Group scored it a 7, praising its heartwarming storybook feel. Game Mania Group gave it a 5, finding it suitable for kids but potentially too easy for adults. Guest Game Writers scored it a 4, appreciating the art and story, despite the childish elements. Overall, it received a 7, suggesting it's enjoyable, especially for families. Clockwork Knight Pepperuchow's Fortune also scored well. Both the Lady Users Group and Game Mania Group gave it a 7, highlighting its easy controls, fun action, and detailed visuals. Guest Game Writers scored it a 6, praising its value as a 2-in-1 package. The overall score is a 7, with a recommendation for its enhanced gameplay and value. SEGA Saturn reviews highlight diverse experiences across 4 titles. Gunbird earns praise, with High Rollers awarding a 9 for its arcade feel and accessible difficulty. Hellish. Deep Sea Depth Charge receives mixed reactions, with complaints about difficulty and repetitive gameplay, resulting in scores of 5 to 6. Marriage is deemed lighthearted but lacking depth, scoring a 4 to 6. Futamata wa Ikanyo garners varied scores based on playstyle. Hardcore shooter fans appreciate the bullet hell, while those seeking depth in dating/marriage find it simplistic, leading to lower scores. This page presents reviews for 4 SEGA Saturn games. Darius Gaiden Extra Edition, a challenging horizontal shooter, receives praise for its graphics, boss fights, and intense difficulty, with reviewers appreciating the YMO-like music and smooth animations. DX Jinsei Game, a board game, is lauded by players for its engaging gameplay and nostalgic elements, particularly its social aspects and user-friendly mechanics. Magical Drop, a unique puzzle game, is praised for its core gameplay and challenging AI, though some find the difficulty curve and character designs less appealing. Finally, an unnamed arcade port is considered a well-done, arcade-perfect version, particularly for puzzle gameplay quality, and recommended for fans of falling block puzzles. This page features reviews of 4 games. First up is Wangan Dead Heat, a racing game where female reviewers felt it was a bit too simple visually, especially the backgrounds, and that it lacked a bit of impact, though they found the car selection decent and enjoyed the racing itself to some extent. Next, under the guest writers section, High Rollers, though the actual game title isn't explicitly stated, the review is under this section, is described as having a unique and interesting feel, praised for its visual style and the thrill of overtaking opponents. However, one reviewer found the car selection a bit limited, and the difficulty curve might be steep. Then, there's the Hypergolf, Devil's Course. Reviewers appreciated its graphics, character animations, and realistic course layouts. They highlighted the fun course design and engaging gameplay mechanics, especially the Hypershot system. The game seems to offer a good balance of simulation and arcade fun. Finally, Quo Vadis is a strategy game. Reviewers noted its unique character design and deep gameplay mechanics. While appreciating the strategic depth and overall concept, some found the presentation and user interface lacking, suggesting it might be a bit complex for casual players, particularly female players. Despite wanting to recommend it to them, they felt the game was a solid strategy title, but could use some refinement in its presentation. This page features game reviews, starting with Theme Park, which received an 8 for its user-friendly interface, vehicle variety, and enjoyable park creation, especially the beginner mode. Virtual Racing SEGA Saturn earned a 6 for its wide selection of courses and cars, though it was criticized for its visuals and arcade-like sound. Creature Shock, lauded for its deep content, impressive full-motion video, and immersive world, got a 7 despite its challenging gameplay. Under the guest writers section, High Rollers received a 7 for its unique, emotionally engaging gameplay, despite the limited car variety and potentially high difficulty. Another guest writers review, likely of a theme park simulation, received an 8 for its easy-to-understand management mechanics and fun selling aspects, despite some minor control issues. This page is packed with game reviews. We kick off with Fist of the North Star, slated for release on December 22nd. Female users enjoyed the nostalgia of the anime and simple controls, scoring it a 5. High Rollers found the battle system a bit complex, but appreciated the story and characters, giving it a 3. Guest writers highlighted the importance of knowing the Fist of the North Star universe to enjoy the game, and awarded it a 6. Next up is Wizard's Harmony, due out on December 29th. Fans of the genre loved the cute characters and easy controls, also giving it a 6. Reviewers focused on raising game's sudden change content, praised its depth and originality, scoring it a 5. Those considering the visuals, under the heading, Picture with No Charm, or rather, appreciated the character design and solid gameplay, and also gave it a 5. The editorial department briefly reviewed both, mentioning Fist of the North Star as a Machine Fist Saint Warrior legend, and Wizard's Harmony as a true goddess reincarnation. Finally, we have New Soft Check, featuring Virtua Fighter CG Portrait Series reviews. Both Wolf and Hawkfield and Lao Chan editions achieved a perfect 100% completion rating, showcasing high-quality CG portraits and artwork within the Virtua Fighter universe. This page reveals some secret techniques for SEGA Saturn games within the Next Level Secret Technic League. First up, in the 64-bit section, for Fry 1 Live information, we learn how to change the grid position and lap count. Apparently, by holding specific button combinations while pressing start, you can manipulate your starting grid position from 1st to 22nd, and the lap count from 1 to 9. It mentions tables detailing button combinations for grid and lap settings. Moving to the 32-bit section, featuring King the Spirits, the secret is about unlocking car types G and H. By holding L, R, and GRI buttons and pressing right on the directional pad during the car select screen, you can access these special car types. However, it seems these are only available in single-player mode. Finally, in the 16-bit section, also for F1 Live information, the trick is about enhancing the shift sound effects. By holding L and R buttons and pressing the start button on the title screen, the car will produce more pronounced shift sounds, even in automatic transmission mode. At the bottom, there's a Back Technique Grand Prize section, inviting readers to submit their own secret techniques for Sega Saturn, Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear games. They're offering prizes like book coupons and special telecards for the best submissions, categorized by bit level, 64-bit, 32-bit, 16-bit, 8-bit, of the game. It also provides an address for sending in submissions. This page introduces the Twin Operator for SEGA Saturn, a device that lets you play video creds and photo creds on your Saturn. It's advertised as a must-have for Saturn owners wanting to enjoy these formats simply by plugging it into the back of the console. The Twin Operator also adds new functionalities to video CD playback, such as program playback, time skip, and scene searching, making it easier to navigate and enjoy video content. To showcase the capabilities of the Twin Operator, the page highlights two software titles. First is A Piece of Phantasmagoria, a video CD movie that immerses you in the fantastic world of Phantasmagoria, created by illustrator Taro Shigeru and developed by I Love Is OK Corp. It's described as a beautiful animation with music and narration, featuring a story about towns, villages, and people. The soundtrack, CD, is also mentioned to be available. Secondly, there's 15 Seconds Cinderella, a photo CD gravure featuring popular CM girls. This photo CD aims to capture the youthful now of these girls, presented as beautiful photo gravure. The featured girls include Mari Kanu, Masako Kubota, Megumi Kobashi, Aki Matsui, and others. Finally, there's a small section at the bottom mentioning the Twin Operator, movie card, and photo card, suggesting that the Twin Operator is a better value than buying separate cards. It also touches upon enjoying these media formats on PC TVs and digital TVs, giving a general consumer perspective. This page shines the spotlight on Hirofumi Nakamura, the illustrator celebrated for his work on the shooting games Sengoku Ace and Gunbird. He's depicted as an artist who creates colorful and sharply defined characters, appealing to both male and female fans, with his male characters particularly popular amongst women. In an interview, Nakamura shares his journey into game development, starting with tabletop RPGs and PC game character designs. He describes his creative process as quite instinctive, driven by feeling rather than strict methodology, and he avoids relying too much on reference materials. He also mentions his efforts to create varied costumes for characters within the same series, like in Gunbird. While he enjoys drawing beautiful female characters, he finds designing cool and muscular male characters a bit more challenging. Looking to the future, Nakamura expresses interest in exploring anime production. He also humorously mentions his ongoing battle with deadlines, and often having to apologize to editors for being late with his work. The page showcases a new illustration by Nakamura specifically for Gunbird, and introduces a Creator's Bank section, a regular feature focused on highlighting individuals involved in game creation. SEGA Saturn Magazine is hosting a Reader Prize giveaway. Prizes include 20 SEGA Saturn games, choice of title, released before November 7, 1996. A rare Tokimeki Memorial cell art, 3 unspecified software titles, and 10 Sonic game posters. Other prizes are 10 Neon Genesis Evangelion posters, 3 World Series baseball posters, 5 Phantom Thief Saint Tail posters, 3 Quo Vadis posters, 2 Fighting Commander SS controllers, and 3 Street Fighter II caps. The magazine also promotes its next issue and includes staff credits and special thanks. This page showcases the SEGA Saturn game Gearboxers, described as a hyper 3D battle-action shooting game. It highlights the game's features, boasting 8 different 3D stages to battle in, and a command-based input system allowing for diverse attack strategies. They mention unpredictable enemy behavior, making each encounter unique. The advert emphasizes the game's intense and chaotic Toton Reverse Hyper 3D battles. The game is priced at 5,800 yen and was released on February 23, 1996 for the SEGA Saturn. The page also features a rather bizarre image of someone completely wrapped in bandages in a hospital bed, seemingly suggesting the intense action of the game might leave you injured. At the bottom, there are small character images which likely represent the playable or enemy characters from Gearboxers. This page continues advertising the SEGA Saturn game Gearboxers and features the tagline, "Keep playing like that forever," hinting at its addictive nature. There is a comical image of a person entirely wrapped in bandages in a hospital bed, still playing the game, suggesting the action is so intense, it's almost like getting injured. The page promotes a pre-order campaign where anyone reserving Gearboxers at participating stores will receive a free pair of original Hishu Jebotora branded trunks, which are essentially underwear. This offer was available from late December 1995 until mid-February 1996. Two game screens are shown, one displaying won and the other lost, really emphasizing the competitive battling aspect of G-Bockers, with even flashing red lights on top of the monitors to amplify the chaotic feel. This page is all about Virtua Fighter 2 for the SEGA Saturn. It's shouting out, "Strong ones, come forth!" which really sets the tone. The page is dominated by a large image of Jackie Bryant mid-kick, showcasing the action. There are also screenshots showing off the improved graphics and various stages of the game. They're highlighting the new team battle mode where you can pick a team of characters. And the screenshot shows a lineup including Jackie, Sarah, Cage, Jeffrey, Shun, Pei, and Lafal. The text emphasizes that it's running at a smooth 60 frames per second, and that you can pull off all the arcade moves at home. It also boasts about the 5 vs 5 team battles. The game is priced at 6,800 yen. And they're also advertising the SEGA Saturn Virtua Stick for 4,800 yen if you want the authentic arcade experience. There's even a mention of a Virtua Fighter TV anime airing on TV Tokyo every week. Overall, this page is pure hype for Virtua Fighter 2 on Saturn, pushing it as the ultimate home version of the arcade hit.